what's up everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Resident Roleplay. There's a show where a group of friends and I get together and play a homebrewed tabletop RPG set in the world of Resident Evil. I'm your host and GM, Raphael, and welcome back to the table, everyone.
Hello!
Hey. So, as you may be noticing, we are currently short one Doc, who plays our resident soldier shooter guy, Chauncey. So he will not be joining us here tonight, at least not for the beginning. It's possible that he might show up later, but we're not entirely certain. But for the foreseeable future, he will not be in the game. So, that is something we'll have to keep in mind. But Melchiah is back this week, back in the shoes of Katara, so sort of trading off here. All right. So, with that being said, if there's nothing else we want to talk about, should we just get right into the roleplay here, or?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So.
I'm gonna be muted for a bit just because I'm eating.
Yeah.
But
Sure
I'll be
thing.
here.
Cool. Just be sure to... Oop, I better put that on vibrate. Just be sure to unmute yourself before you start trying to talk again. All right. So. Let me just get myself situated here. Previously, on Resident Roleplay, after Archaea's fugitive father, Aiden, had been sighted in a neighborhood that fell to a T-virus outbreak, the four of you entered the area as FBC mercenaries to search for him. At one point, you seemingly found him, but then lost him just as quick. Nonetheless, you proceeded to finish your mercenary job and searched the area for survivors. You found a few, including a group cornered on a supermarket rooftop, as well as a mother and her toddler who seemed to be catatonic after the mother had to kill her infected husband. As you escorted the two of them back to the FBC camp, you were cut off by a giant worm, known to Resident Evil fans as the Gravedigger, very similar to the one that your characters encountered under Raccoon City. Returning to the FBC camp, you found Rick, who was the first civilian you rescued, but now knowing from his brother that he has ties to the Feliciano crime family, who are known to own bioweapons, you intimidated him into promising his aid in moving against them. Katara had previously suffered crippling migraines following her use of her infected senses, and was already at the camp and remained there to recover as the rest of you continued clearing the infected zone. However, you did not find any survivors in doing so, at least not anymore. So, with that being said, Archaea, Chauncey, and Emil, after a great deal of room clearing, it is late in the afternoon when the three of you finally make your way back to the main FBC camp, where the two sentries open the gates and kind of allow you back into the bustling militaristic base set up in the middle of the street, just beyond the infected zone. So it's roundabouts 5 p.m. right now, and you guys have just returned to the camp. What are you doing?
So dinner time. Got it.
Real quick, did we find anything of importance in the... Like, we didn't find survivors, but did we find any materials or other pickups in the upper floors of the apartment building?
I do not believe you did, because I think we had you roll for that last time and then resolved everything that would have resulted in.
Okay. Right. I remember now. Just like a general investigation check. So it's about 5 right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did we just get back, or have we been back for a while?
I'll say you just got back. You just got through the gates at this moment. Right. And it's not exactly 5. I think it's a little bit before 5 at this point. But
5-ish.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting late in that afternoon.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna go check up on Katara real quick, see how she's faring.
Okay, you head over to the last place you saw her in the medic tent, and she still seems to be there, sitting along the cot. Katara, at this point, you've been resting a fair bit, and the migraine and achiness that you were suffering after using Sense Infected seems to have subsided, and you're feeling more so your usual self. But as you well know, that was very unusual, and not like anything you had ever experienced before. But you see Emil come in and check in on you.
Oh, Emil. Hey.
You feeling good?
Oh, yeah, a lot better than I did before.
No.
Never experienced that. That was new.
Oh, real quick. Did she have, like, she was being taken care of by, like, medics and stuff here, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
All
she
right.
would have been.
All right. I'm gonna ask her, or I guess I'm gonna ask Mokaya, but this is really a question for you. Did the medical technicians, did they look at you? And I'm gonna like give like a head motion towards like in her general direction. Like did they do any more in-depth testing, or did they just like give her medications or stuff?
Katara, you would know that the medics at the camp pretty much just they just know that you're just like having a bit of a spell, so they just gave you some pain relievers or like nausea reducing medication and just left you with it.
I mean, they left me with medication, and they knew they saw that I was having a headache or a migraine technically, and just kind of went about their day.
Okay, good. Do you mind if I do a little bit more in-depth check?
No.
See if there's anything going on. All right, I'm just gonna check her out, see if I can detect any change in her like stuff going on.
Okay, make a quick medical check. First roll of the night.
And it's
it was almost the one.
it was yeah. Okay, so that's a 26.
That's a pretty good checkup. So if you're going a little bit more in depth on this is going to take some time. So you sit here for quite a while.
I'm like, if possible, I would like to ask the medical technicians there if it's okay if I use their facilities. I'm a medical professional. Would you?
You show your qualifications, which you have now.
Which I now have qualifications. I show my papers.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I have a patient here, and I'm wondering if I could use your facilities.
And one of the medics, they seem to be more so worried about some of the other patients in there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sure, go ahead. Just try not to mess with too much of the supplies."
Oh no, it's okay. I've got some of my own stuff, but I just need, and then I'll describe the equipment that I can't personally bring with me.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
And so
I'll just tell them I just need to use, just some stuff that would be normally inconsequential.
Yeah. So you let them know the details, and you are pretty easily able to use the gear that is in this tent. And given a little bit of time and some in-depth checking into Katara's state, you do seem to get the sense, just given the observations you're able to make here and what she's told you about how it felt, that Katara's physiology seems to be rapidly changing. And it seems her body can't much keep up with it. And this has kind of led to what you assume to be, at least, you see symptoms of just rapid physiological changing, which has led to systematic instability, and her just general homeostasis seems to be all out of whack.
Mm-hmm. I'll explain it all to her in very medical terms and not very eloquently at all. It's basically just like, your body seems to be shutting down. Your organs are failing.
Yeah, just like just as bluntly as possible.
Yeah, something like that. And it's just like, does it look like it's going to be an issue? Like in the foreseeable future?
It's really hard to ascertain. At this moment, you can kind of get what happened, but you'd have to see, you'd have to keep checking in on her to see if it's a repeating problem.
Okay, this might be an issue. It seems your body can't keep up with your look around. Anybody around us?
You've got the corner to yourself, at the very least.
Something might be going. Your evolution might be happening a little quicker than your body can adapt.
Well, that's the whole reason why I wanted to test it first before bringing it out to anybody else, right?
Yep. But we need you to live. So I'm gonna have to keep checking up on you every now and then.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I do live.
You live. I'm gonna finish up with her and just like put a hand on her shoulder, give her as much of a smile as Emil can muster, and head out.
All right. So you head back out of that tent. You see the rest of the base is still kind of bustling, and you see Parker seems to be in the main tent that you've seen him in before, handling some operations there.
Yeah. At this point, he's just gonna grab or if possible, talk to Parker. But if not, just grab a form little employment thing and see if he can get that paperwork started. I think
Chauncey kind of joins you at this point. He's like, "Hey, come on, let's go get paid," and drags you over to the main tent.
I mean, I was just walking forward, like, "Oh, right, we're already doing the job. That's right."
But yeah, so the two of you are at least. Are the rest of you joining, or what are you guys doing?
I don't.
It really depends on what Melkai is or what Katara is doing.
I don't know. I mean, I guess after laying down for a while, she's probably like, all right, I'm gonna stretch my legs. Why not?
All right.
Yeah. Then RKO follows.
All right. So you all kind of make your way over to the kind of main administrative tent that Parker is in. As you enter, Parker sees you all looking a little worn from a long day's work, but he kind of nods to you and says, "Ah, nice to see you have all made it back in one piece. So, I trust by how long it's been that you've searched the area pretty thoroughly."
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. We've heard reports from some of the other checkpoints about the survivors that you've been sending their way. It sounds to me like you've rescued 6 in total. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, very good. Well,
just real quick, making sure. I remember 6. It was 6, right? Lauren remembers 6. What does Emil remember?
Yeah, Emil would remember 6 as well.
Okay, just making sure, because the only thing it would have been the kids. Because I remembered 3 of them. I didn't know if there was like 4 or something.
Yeah, because there's 3 on the rooftop of the store, and then there's
their brother, and then the mom and child.
Yeah, exactly. So he was like, very well, so the payout will be as discussed when you initially signed up. I'll just head over there to, and he kind of redirects you to another tent where there's a FBC treasurer based in there, and he'll cut you guys a check. So the agreed upon reward was $4,000 as just a base fee, plus 1,000 bonus for every civilian rescued. So you guys
Oh snap!
cut a check for
$10,000.
$10,000 that you could split any which way you want between the four of you.
Yeah, there's no visible reaction on Emil's face, but his heart skips a beat. I think that's more money than he's had in his bank account at one time, like ever.
Yeah, so we'll say for the time being, you guys will eventually be able to get to, a bank and cash it and whatnot. But at this moment, you guys can update your funds if you want and distribute it, do all the distribution right now, just for bookkeeping, if you would like.
Wait, is it $10,000? It's not $10,000 per, obviously, I guess.
No,
now.
$10,000 in total, yeah.
So there's 4 of us. Oh, crap. That would be...
I think 2,500 would be an even split.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so even split?
Well, yep, even split.
And Chauncey points out, he's like, well, as Arkea's legal guardian, and seeing as she doesn't even have a bank account, I guess I'll be taking a hold of her share.
Emil doesn't even it's like, yeah, makes sense. How, so, does she even get, a bank slot?
I don't know.
As a 9/18-year-old? How does she keep money?
Just with cash.
Does she, like Lisa does, are you just gonna keep everything you have in cash?
I don't know if she's here right now. Hello?
No, she's muted.
Oh.
Oh, well, okay. Figure that out later. We'll figure out how to get funds to her eventually.
Well, she'll get freaking allowance from Chauncey, I guess.
Chauncey already said he wasn't gonna give her allowance. And Emil,
yeah, but that was when he was poor.
To argue.
What's happening?
Money.
Money, okay.
So it's 2,500. So here's the thing. Let's think about this in terms of shares. So since this is the first time we've got a payout,
a large amount of money.
As a party.
That's true. This is the first time you guys have gotten a real payout.
Think of this in terms of shares. Are we all going to be one share, or are the adults going to be one share and the child going to be a half share? Because realistically speaking, that's how Emil would come at it. But Lisa's still a player character, so are we still going to go all through? Have everybody be one?
Emil express that, or?
Well, Emil expresses that the adult should get one share, and then the child should count as a half share, and then but her share goes towards Emil. Chauncey.
Yeah. I'll solve this really quickly for you guys. As we're talking about money, Arkea's kind of playing with her hands, like that nervous thing kids do.
It's a lot of money.
She looks over at Emil and she's like, what in the world do I need money for? Just divide it amongst yourselves. And she walks out of the tent.
Johnson's just like, yep, that confirms it.
And then Emil's
I get her share.
And Emil's like looking at her walk away. It's like, she gets a half share, and it goes towards a college education.
College education.
All right, I'll try to remember to do that when I get back to PA.
Remember?
I'll try to remember to tell him. So everybody gets one. She gets a half, so that just makes the math a little bit harder. Slightly, because it's going to be 3.5 divided by
Yes.
10,000. You said, right?
It was 10,000 in total. Yeah.
I keep opening the wrong app.
That's not good.
3.5. So everybody gets 2,800 and. Wait, no, that's not right. Hold on.
So what we were saying, everybody.
Because it's 3.5 shares,
Yeah.
which means. Oh crap! Statistics and math and shit. It's not just an even divide. Because I would assume everybody gets an equal share.
I'll tell you what, we'll just do it in quarters, and I'll just split off some of mine for her college fund at a later time. So let's just mark it down that way for
Do it
now.
for quarters for now.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I have to figure out how to do that eventually.
And then Chauncey just makes off with a smile on his face.
Aww.
So it's walking away.
So he gets. I he's walking away, and it's like, right. But I'm gonna have to remember to tell him college education.
Write it down. Take a note.
Yeah, I did. How'd I go with getting the paperwork?
Oh yeah, and Parker would have also given you, before you left his tent and went for the treasure, he would have also given you you and Chauncey some applications, and just sort of tells you, feel free to fill it out here, or if you need to put together a resume, just mail it to the listed address when you're done.
All right. I'm probably just gonna fill it out here.
It'd
All right.
be $1,250 for college education.
That would be half of a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not quite 3
Oh.
and then a half. It's very complicated. I don't quite know how to go about calculating it. I know theoretically how it works.
Yes.
Math.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna have to think about it when I'm not also thinking about roleplay.
Snap your fingers like Thanos and you'll get instant math.
Yeah, well, half is easy. Just cut everyone in half. What was I gonna say? All right.
So, as you guys are sitting around, and as Chauncey sort of starts walking off from the treasure, and Emil takes a seat to start trying filling out his application, you guys hear just
Oh no.
as you see a middle-aged gentleman in a black suit approaching, who looks very familiar to you, Emil. You recognize this as Mr. Fox, and he approaches just clapping. And it's just like, well done. Looks like you guys did some work here. He's kind of flanked on either side by these agents that are kind of escorting him.
Mm-hmm. I assume I don't recognize either of them, or do I recognize one of them?
I think you would recognize both of them, because they're those.
Oh, okay.
You've seen them in meetings with him before. They never talk, but you've seen them.
I thought he was only ever flanked by one person usually.
It depends. It changes over the years.
So, all right, because last time I met with him
Yeah.
was the first time Lauren met with him.
Yeah.
And he only had one with him. Okay.
And they all kind of look the same to you, so.
That's true. They all basically are the same person and with different colored hair. So he walks up and says, just like, good job.
Yep.
Well, it's a job. Still looking down and filling out paperwork.
And none of the rest of you seem to recognize them. You don't know who this is.
Very important question.
Mm-hmm.
I may not recognize him, but does he recognize me?
You don't know that. I don't.
Yeah,
You
you
can
don't
ask
know.
if he recognizes you, but question: would Chauncey recognize him?
Yeah.
Chauncey doesn't recognize him, no. I think only Emil has seen him.
Well, that's what I mean.
True.
Chauncey wouldn't know Fox, but does Chauncey recognize one of the other people there?
Oh,
Yeah.
snap. Yeah, he would.
There's a bit of bad. I know there's a bit of bad blood going on between somebody and someone else.
Yeah, you see one of the other agents is just sort of just like squinting at Chauncey, but still just like doesn't say anything, just shakes his head.
Like yeah,
Aw.
full on, just like
Stink eye.
eyes locked, not even just like,
Yeah, just mad stink eye.
Dang it, Chauncey needs to be here. Where's Doc?
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, I know Doc would just absolutely go off on him.
Oh no.
So, Emil would see this thing going on between Doc and
Or Chauncey and
between Chauncey and this other guy looking at him and it's like, oh right, party. Friends, this is Mr. Fox. Mr. Fox, these are my friends.
Ah, yes, I'm quite familiar with your friends. By the way...
RK extends a hand.
Oh, well, hello there. He just takes your little hand and just shakes it. And just has a firm, business-like grip. And he gives you a good shake. And, he kind of... After releasing his grip, kind of turns to Emil and Chauncey and just says, well, it seems to me like you need to keep a tighter leash on this one. You have no clue how far up the chain I just had to reach to keep her secret safe.
She immediately looks at you. Or him.
Well, Emil's still gonna look at her and just like gives her just like, the parenting, like, I told you so,
Yep.
Yeah.
Arkia speaks up and she's like, Emil, he's not bad, is he?
No, he's alright.
He's not gonna, like, do anything sketchy.
Well, it depends on how you define sketchy. But
Okay.
I am your advocate in this situation. So
Yeah, Emil's gonna like agree with him. It's like, well, see, he works for the government, but technically he doesn't exist.
She kind of gives you a sideways look, kind of like, what? And then looks over at Mr. Fox, or the scary business-like man, and goes, okay, wait a minute. I know that I'm not exactly, smart. And she taps her like temple and and says, I know I'm not exactly smart, but you have to exist, right?
That's adorable.
he just cracks a smile. He's like, it's complicated, but right now all you need to know is I just had to pull some strings to make sure what you went ahead and told the commanding officer at this camp all about. And now the CIA owes a favor to Morgan Lansdale, the commissioner of the FBC, which can't be good.
All right, wait a second. Okay. Here. See, I don't know how to explain this. I'm little in my mind, but I feel responsible for everyone because and she lowers her voice because she doesn't want everybody to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, he's out there. He's looking for me, and if he doesn't find me, he's going to keep killing until he does. So I feel responsible to warn people that, this is happening.
And at this point, Mr. Fox just kind of gets down on one knee and lowers himself a little bit to kind of meet eye to eye, because he's like, or rather not on one knee, but just kind of leans over. He's a fairly tall dude, but not incredibly taller than you are since you're 18 years of age now. But he leans over and kind of looks you in the face. He's like, yeah, well, doesn't mean you need to be going around telling your life story to everybody who'll listen. And in this case, you're going to have to feel a lot more responsible for a lot more things, because Lansdale is a political animal, and people like him don't call in CIA favors unless they have something that needs covering up. So it might cost some people their lives, but that's the price of politics. Now,
and immediately you see, as this is happening, you immediately, as he's saying this, you see Arkea kind of back down like a puppy, and tears like start in her eyes, and she walks off. She walks away from him.
and Mr. Fox is just...
Go check with Chauncey. Can you just make sure she doesn't get into trouble really quick?
Yeah, I got it. And he kind of runs after her. But Mr. Fox looks at you and he's like, well,
I'm sorry about that.
business as usual. But you know how I'm having to pull a lot of strings just to make sure she stays under wraps, just to make sure she keeps her freedom. So make sure she understands that and try to keep the noise down.
I'm trying.
I expect you to.
If it makes you feel any better, I am applying to be part of the FBC. Hopefully one day climb up its ranks. If you want, I can be an inside man if you don't already have one.
Well, I'll bear that in mind. Well, FBC is a good direction. I'm sure it'll suit you. And wouldn't
It's
hurt to...
my plans.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Let me know how that goes. Of course, I'll be
I
in
will.
touch.
Me too.
Now, I suppose I'll be getting on with my work here. Still keeping an ear to the ground around these parts. Tell me, did you see anything interesting while you're in there in the infected zone while I'm here?
Well, we think we saw Aiden. He's, we think he may be going after the Feliciano family. Can't be too sure, but we couldn't find Simmons.
Did you find anybody on his list?
Nobody alive. Couldn't, nobody we knew about.
Well, that's too bad. But you said you saw him.
We think we did.
And did you get a chance to speak with him?
Unfortunately, no. He ran off. Caused quite a commotion. Took a car through one of the checkpoints.
Yes, I heard chatter over the radio about some sort of gunfire going on in one of the blocks. Sound like quite a firefight.
Yep, he's a fighter. He didn't kill anybody, though. Not that I know of.
Well, you did see all the bodies on the way into the building where you found him.
He didn't kill anybody during that firefight, though. Not that I know of.
Well, I'll certainly have to look into that.
We think that was a firefight between maybe the Felicianos and him. But
I have my own theories.
I'm sure you do. We only have what we were able to go off of.
I've heard tell that he's not the only one running around in USS uniform around here. So, that's where my mind goes.
There's others running around in USS.
Well, that's what some of the chatter seems to suggest.
Anybody we need to be worried about? Looking over at Katara and Mr. Fox.
And Mr. Fox at this point kind of finally acknowledges Katara and he's like, oh, now that doesn't happen to be Dr. Katara Oswald, does it?
It is.
Ah. Well, it seems like this is a little bit of a reunion of all the folks you came out of Raccoon City with, Emil.
Something like that.
Dr. Oswald, last I heard, you are no longer with Umbrella, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
In fact, last I heard, you also took up a teaching position. How's the non-BOW manufacturing business treating you?
Fairly well.
Well, that's good to hear.
Giving me the life that I want.
Well, glad to hear you're moving into more legitimate industries. But I will admit there's quite a lot of knowledge you have about their inner workings. We may have to capitalize on that one of these days.
Well, it might depend on the information you're looking for.
Well, I'll let you know when I have more concise questions. In the meantime, I'm going to be working with the FBC here to wrap things up neatly here in uptown Chicago. Hopefully, this virus stays contained. And hopefully, doesn't move too far beyond these borders. Now tell me, did you guys... What was that?
I was just going to say, well, you might want to check the water lines. There was a big worm thing in the sewers. Found one of those in Raccoon City, so just might want to check up on that. Oh, yeah, by the way, we got attacked by the worm again.
Wait again?
Yeah. Similar, very similar to the one in Raccoon City.
Okay, I was gonna say it didn't just, like, follow. It was...
I really hope not. I really, really hope not.
Oh, no.
It's okay, it's dead.
Another thing I'm gonna have to ask you about. There have been reports of a new virus making the rounds in the black market. Rumor has it, the Feliciano family may have gotten a hold of it as well. You guys didn't happen to see anything different in there, did you?
Wait a minute, hold on. That's true.
It's a new virus?
Yeah.
Yes.
The infected that we came across were not T-virus. However,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that worm was. We didn't see any other T-virus infected in there.
Well, you do know the zombies and stuff were standard issue T-virus zombies.
Oh, that's okay. But no, right, not the
the
big thing.
Yeah, the big green
thing
things.
with claws.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jabberwock.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
thing. So that was that the only different one that we saw?
Yeah, as far as you
and
know.
The spiders, we didn't see those in Raccoon City.
Yeah, you
but did we?
Yeah, you saw some spiders in Raccoon City. In the
I haven't
Arclight
seen any
cabin, you
spiders.
fought some spiders.
Oh yeah, that was real early on. Yeah.
Yeah, that was real early on.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I was like, I'm thinking like second arc right now.
She doesn't even know about the spiders. She's just like, dude, there was a worm? No.
he's like, yeah, twice as big too. No, yeah, we were able to take care of that, but yeah, we did see some new aberrations. We're not quite sure where they come from yet, but we're working on it, and we'll sure you will come up. We'll let you know anything we find.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks in those things in the States, if it is with this new virus. Last these things cropped up was in, with the cartels down in South America. They call it the T. Veronica virus, if you guys want to keep an ear out for it.
T. Veronica.
Some sort of
Yeah.
T virus offshoot.
Something like that.
Great.
It's definitely a lot more exotic than the T virus, and that alone makes it more coveted on the black market.
Yeah, you can say that.
Well, like I said, I got a job to do around here, so I'll see what me and my boys can dig up after this. Good work,
We'll see
Emil.
you around.
Oh, you'll be seeing me. And he
I know I will.
walks off. And Chauncey, over the course of that conversation, caught up with Archaea. And he's just like walking with you and trying to stop you and comfort you.
Aw. she kind of just she ends up walking back to the what the crap is it called? The car, the
Oh
SUV.
yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot what
and she kinda
Chauncey's
just-
vehicle was. It was, I think it was like a Suburban or
Some
something.
sort of Suburban? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you guys make your way back to the vehicle, and
Yep.
Chauncey kind of calls over to you guys like, "Hey, yo, whenever you guys are all wrapped up here, best hit the road."
Archaea kind of just sits like leans on the hood.
Everybody good? Got everything you needed?
Yep.
Well, it's been one hell of a reunion. Gets in the car.
All right, so you guys are able to exit from the camp at this point with the check in hand, and we'll say for the sake of brevity, you'll eventually road trip your way back home. Emil, you get dropped off back at your home in Brunton, Minnesota, and then Chauncey gives Katara a ride back because I think he gave you the ride up.
Actually, could he drop me off at the bar?
Okay, you want to get dropped off at the bar at Poison?
Poison.
All right, so you get dropped off there. And eventually the rest of you also get returned to your homes. So, Emil, was there something you wanted to do pretty immediately at the bar, or?
Well, I just wanted to check up on Alice because I did invite her, but we left before we saw anything from her.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah,
just gonna
that's
make
true.
sure. I'm just gonna see if she was able, or if she made it and apologize that we weren't able to be there. Something came up, and
Mhm. Yeah, and she's sort of
Like,
upon
I'm-
going in.
also I guess if he dropped me off at the bar, I'm still in full gear, so I'm just like,
Well, I
Something
mean, you
came up.
would have had time to de-gear before getting back into the car, but
sure. Yeah, but I've got like stains on me and like
Yeah, you're
like
still
blood
beat
and
to
poison
heck.
and like
yeah, just covered in goop.
I absentmindedly still have my med kit attached to my hip, so I'm just like, yeah, something came up.
And she's just like, oh yeah, I understand. It's not a problem. Bar kept me busy all day, so.
Well, I'm here now, so as usual. I'll be here probably for a little bit longer. It was a long day.
Sounds good to me. And she starts pouring you up a drink, and yeah, spend a good bit of the rest of the day. Well, I guess taking the road trip back home, it's probably
It's like I was thinking it was like closer to night.
it's night when
Yeah.
when you arrive. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely
so-
sun's down. So you spend your evening at the bar.
I spend my evening at the bar, and I only have one drink, and then the rest of the night is spent escorting out drunk belligerents.
Oh yeah, and there's a good few drunk belligerents, and you are just like, it's child's play compared to what you just went through. But yeah, you
It's
have your
always been
time.
child's play.
So, the rest of you also get to your homes. Upon returning to your home in Stony Brook, Archaea, which is the small Pennsylvanian town where Chauncey and Archaea reside. It's just a little, out of the way but comfortable town, and at its heart is a meager urban hub surrounded on its outskirts by dense green forests and fields filling the gaps between the few suburban neighborhoods. And in traveling those outskirts, the kind of quiet atmosphere and natural aroma evoke a almost intimate sense of nostalgia. It's almost like a fairy tale land from a more innocent age. And it's in those outskirts, in those far out suburban neighborhoods where the Clancy household is. Archaea, as you and Chauncey arrive back at the house, you do notice that there are some voicemails waiting on your home answering machine.
I just want to interject real quick.
Yeah.
So I guess she wrote and said she'll be back. She's been
did
gone
she?
for like the last 4 minutes.
Snap, son. Well, we'll get to that in a moment then, but we'll leave that there for now. But Katara, upon returning home, you do also notice that you have a voicemail as well.
Ooh, okay. I guess after getting back and settling down a little bit and like just doing whatever, she's gonna check it.
Okay. So you listen to the voicemail and you hear this on the other end. There we go. You have one unheard message. Yes, hello, Miss Oswald. This is Dr. Sunny with Unity Point Health. I'm just calling to inform you that Nuria's operation was successful and she is currently in recovery. She's doing very well, but unfortunately this type of procedure isn't covered by her insurance policy. Before going under, she designated her father to pay the bill, but he's unable to cover the cost in its entirety, so he designated you for a co-payment. So if you'll agree, then we can mail you the remaining bill, and just please get back to us as soon as you can. Thank you. End of messages. And that is what you hear.
Oh. I mean, sure.
So, and yeah, you do also find amongst your mail a bill for about $10,000 for to cover the remaining costs on Nuria's operation.
Didn't she just spend that amount?
Wait a minute. I thought.
No, she didn't spend that amount because Chauncey arranged for the grenade launcher to be gotten for free.
No,
Which,
no.
by the way,
No.
I forgot to mention that you would have to have returned the weaponry that was borrowed from the armory, and so Chauncey made sure to return his M16, the M16 and the handgun, which he had given to Arkea last we left.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he would have made sure that was all gathered up and returned to the armory.
Oh, I'm so confused. Okay, I thought that the surgery happened before getting into the Ark.
Well, it was happening at the time that the reunion was going on. That was the reason that Nuria wasn't able to make it to the reunion. So
Okay.
So yeah, so you getting back at this point, she's probably upon your return, it would have been the next evening. Yeah, she's probably still in recovery at this point, still at the hospital, but all this has been arranged. There was another surgery over the course of the break between arcs, but this was a different one.
Okay. Yeah, she's just like, all right, yeah, I can pay this.
All right. So mark off 10,000 from your funds, and while we're waiting for Arkea to get back,
Yeah, she also said she needed to speak with Emil, so...
So we might have to
That's got to happen as
retroactively
well.
do that?
Well, I mean, we could just have a conversation in the vehicle.
That's true, yeah. But, well, I mean, it will still be retroactively in the vehicle,
Oh,
since
yeah,
you guys have
that's
gone
true,
your
yeah.
separate ways by now.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Of course, after the night, I head back home, and there's nothing changing at my house.
yeah, it seems to be as you left it.
Okay. Nobody
So-
leaves Emil's voice messages.
Yeah, they just show up at the place that you're at.
Yeah,
But-
they show up with flanked with bodyguards.
But
That's
yeah,
Emil's life.
everything seems to be the way you last left it. Some uneaten food still remaining from the get-together, but alas, you start
I'm gonna make
cleaning
sure to
that
put
up.
everything in the fridge, and just start pulling out leftovers and just munching.
All right. So, with that being the case, about the next 4 months seem to go by uneventful. So if there's any downtime activities you guys want to do during that time, we could go over that now.
So, okay, so I want to rack back up my funds.
Yeah, so over the course of the break, you guys will be getting paid monthly from the income of whatever work you get. Or I guess with Emil, we'll get to you in a sec because you're applying for the FBC. But with Katara,
I've also got a bunch of stuff I'm doing. Emil's a busy man.
Yeah, he is. So let's see. With Katara, I believe yours was. Let me check back on that pinned message. Yeah, so you get $3,000 a month. So you get 4 months worth of funds from your professor position at Simpson College. So 3 times 4 is $12,000 over the course of that break.
Okay, and
then also offset with the cost of $800 a month in rent. I'll just round all your bills into one thing and call that $300 a month for bills, assuming you're still doing Muay Thai classes and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that's just for bills, cost of living, and all that stuff.
Okay, so $300 a month for each.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's $1,200 altogether.
Yeah, well, $300 a month plus the $800 for rent at your 2-bedroom apartment, so that's $1,100 a month in expenses.
Yeah, $1,100.
Yeah. So that knocks off about $4,400 in total from your income.
$4,400. Okay, yeah. So let me get my.
So yeah.
Because the next thing I was gonna have her do was go through and since she got told that by since she got told, oh yeah, your shit's failing. She's like, and she wants to look more into that, and she also wants to look more into the stuff she was doing before.
Okay.
Yeah. Also remember that Emil, unless you've been seeing somebody outside, Emil is also the one who has been taking care of you, like your checkups and physicals and all that other stuff.
Okay.
Under the table.
That is true. So,
true.
So you said you were looking into,
obviously free of charge.
Of course. So you're looking into doing some more research then, and
yeah,
and kind of utilizing some of your previous discoveries.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you, at this point in time, are you going to go ahead and use this downtime then to start looking into perhaps making some sort of formula or something to stabilize your condition and?
Yeah.
Yeah, and start making preparations.
Yep.
So
that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
All right. So for that, I'll say it takes about because obviously you do have the facilities at the college to be able to do all that you need to do with as far as synthesizing the formula and whatnot. But it will take, I'll say, about a month's worth of prep, so you could only try a total of 4 times over the course of this break.
Okay.
And I'll say $500 or so in ingredients with each attempt.
Okay.
And then with a month's worth of prep and $500 in ingredients will get you a 1 science check to see how you do.
That's like 4. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, first month, not too much progress. You attempt to act upon the discoveries you made previously, but it's a little bit of a dud. It doesn't seem to have the excuse me, proper chemical balance that you're looking for. So you kind of scrap it and start from scratch again.
Can I phone Emil?
Would you like to phone a friend?
I would like to
are
phone
you
a meal.
All right, you phone Emil.
So this has been after the first attempt, so a month is
Yeah,
passed.
so this is a month
Yeah.
later. Emil, you get rung up at your home.
Because I'd also in that first month, I also would have liked to have done some research, but
Okay.
I don't think it would affect this too much. So we can do that when I come up.
All right. So yeah, your home phone rings. You pick up the horn, and it's Katara.
Yep.
Hey, I might need your assistance on something.
All right.
After what you told me, I've been looking into a few things and started to synthesize, or attempt to synthesize a formula to stabilize myself.
Okay.
I haven't had that much luck. Kind of had to start over, but I'm gonna need your help on this.
Sure. You want me over?
Yes, please.
All right. I'll be there. I'm gonna head over to her place.
All right. So, you make the trip, which thankfully she's not too far from you, as we discovered.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah, you could get there in a couple of hours.
like within a day.
Yeah. So
I'll
you make
pack up all my stuff, and I'll also bring with me all the papers that I had on her previously, with including all the documents. Wait, no, I don't have those anymore. What do I still have? No, I do still have all the documents that I had written on her initial injection.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
That's right,
take all
yeah.
that. Yeah. I'm gonna take all that with me, and I'm gonna take all all the information I have on her and her condition.
All right. So, well, actually, because I think like
It's
the
got,
stuff you
a
had,
box full of folders.
the stuff you had on the initial injection, talked about in the underground laboratory when she first became evolved.
Yeah.
Because I remember
I still have.
I think
still have the
that got
papers,
confiscated.
because- no, the papers I still have, they were just photocopied.
That's right. Yeah, that's what it was.
All of the vials and viruses and samples that I had taken, or that I had, those were taken. But
Yeah,
the papers were left to me. They were just copied. And thankfully,
true.
I'm a doctor, so I have terrible handwriting.
All right. So you make your way there.
I would think that Emil is very meticulous. Like the problem is, I think Emil is very meticulous about like how his handwriting is, and it's very legible. So that might prove to be a problem later. So I head over to her place, and I've got all this stuff. I've just got a box full of folders just from like the past 4.5 years of checkups with Katara.
Jesus, gonna go through and show you everything that she was working on.
Okay, so
And-
everything that has to do with your...
That formula.
Okay.
And it's quite a bit. You see that this is something she seems to have been working at for quite some time.
You do well with the laboratory.
Yeah.
Seems to be your natural habitat.
Yeah, I can never escape it. I never want to. There's just so much to do.
Well, you could take the scientist out of the laboratory, but you can never take the laboratory out of the scientist, am I right?
Yeah, you're correct.
All right, let's get going.
All right, let's go.
And I'm just gonna start pulling out anything necessary, and I'll probably stick with her throughout this month, every now and then coming by and helping her.
Okay. So, yeah, with the next month of prep and another $500 on materials, you can make another science check, this time with advantage from Emil's help.
Oh,
Oh, it's the same thing.
come on.
Oh! Natural 20.
It was exactly the same, except for Emil was here.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
What in the world?
You know,
So, like,
I think there's been a natural 20 every time Emil has helped with this.
I don't
Yes.
even know what's up. Like Emil's gonna come up and is gonna be like, all right, first let me see how you went about this, and it's like, all right, it's not bad, it's on the right track, but you see,
You see, it's poop.
Just boom.
Yeah, so with Emil's guidance, having somebody to bounce off of, as you discovered back in Raccoon City, is an immense help. All of a sudden,
Someone
he's
who
seeing
speaks your
all
language.
sorts of, someone who speaks your language, somebody who knows what they're doing, and just somebody that you can bounce ideas off of, and he just like walks you through the intricacies and shows you what you've been doing from a perspective that you hadn't quite considered yet, and that is the medical perspective. And so, with your knowledge combined, you at the end of this month are able to go through an epic synthesizing process. It kind of looks like that sequence from Iron Man 2 where he makes a new arc reactor. Basically looks like that.
Yeah.
And just like Emil's there with his goggles, just like as the thing finishes being produced. So, you're not quite sure if you will be needing this quite yet, but by the time you feel your physiology start to get to its worse, it may become necessary as a stabilizer. And Emil, of course, advises you that attempting to use it beforehand, before it becomes necessary, may have some unexpected results. So tread lightly with it. But you do over the course of this break, and I would say, if you were to like test around with your sense infected, you would notice that it does still have some of that exhausting effect that you felt back in Chicago. So, and just generally speaking, it's that intensifies it, but you do feel a general achiness as the months go on that just like seems to be a little debilitating, and it is getting worse. So you
also
save that formula for a rainy day when you feel it's necessary.
It just has
Just that.
But you
Just
can add that to your inventory.
just as an additional aside, probably would do some testing with her like abilities. Like I'm pretty sure he's got some vials now, because I think I did.
Did you
grab
collect
some
anything
stuff.
back in Chicago?
Yeah, but nothing for the T virus. I don't think I have any T virus samples.
That's right. You got some stuff from the T Veronica virus thing.
Yeah, I've got T Veronica, and I've got
Which if you were to use Sense Infected on that, if you were to do some tests with that, you wouldn't be able to detect that. Anything that's in that vial from the Jabberwock.
So like, even if it was similar, like it's not like just like a little bit.
No, yeah, it still does seem to be outside of her purview.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, right.
That's too bad. It's like I have the T Veronica sample, and it's like, can you sense this? It's like she tries it, she can't. And like, oh, that's too bad. Here's an Advil.
She's like, no, I'm not able to.
Interesting. Just give her some pills.
Next thing you want to actually, what do you want to? Well, actually, no. I know you want to test and figure something out with that.
What, do you need it?
What with that sample?
Yeah. Because it's been a month from now, and that would have been what I was doing prior to this month. So, because if I finish, whatever I need to do with that, I can probably just give it to her.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's what I wanted to do in the month before. So I guess now it's been 2 months. Having access to her lab, would I have been able to? So like in the first month before she calls, I wanted to do as much research as I could on the samples that I picked up.
Okay.
As well as some paperwork and all this other stuff. But just because this applies right now, do I need to make anything to see what the T Veronica is about?
Just to research it in general.
Just to research it, just so that Emil has knowledge of its of its composition and its potential effects and or benefits.
All right, I'll say go ahead and make a science check.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
just backyard scientist. It's not working
Yeah,
out for me.
backyard scientist does not work for you. You try as you might, you don't have the equipment, at least, aside from Katara's laboratory, needed to give this a proper analysis.
So
It seems to react no different than any other bit of flesh with the what equipment you have just at your home. So,
do I lose anything with that natural one?
I would say
I don't like blow up the sample or anything,
Yeah,
right?
you don't blow it up or anything. That'd be a little difficult to do. So you're doing your experiments over the
surprised.
stove, and but you do the samples are a little bit not necessarily contaminated, but they're not as raw as when how you first got them at this point after running your little tests on it.
So I have some contaminated samples.
Yeah.
I mean, before I would have done that, I would have had like a little bit set aside for, just like a pure, like a pure sample. So I basically now I just like have mostly contaminated sample and there's like a little bit of this pure thing. Is that all right?
All right.
So
Yeah.
So I've got this little tiny bit of sample left, and Katara calls me up. I set that in the bag with all of her stuff, and then we help her out. And then I'm like, yeah. Actually, I do have this T. Veronica sample. I wasn't able to make anything of it on my own, but maybe you can.
actually, yeah, I do want to look more into this.
I'm gonna help her make that science check again.
Okay.
I'll tell her everything that I try to figure out, and I'm just like, yeah, nothing worked.
So go ahead and make your science check with advantage, Katara, to investigate the T. Veronica. Ooh. What's up with the doubles tonight?
218.
What in the
Okay.
world?
Yeah, you've been rolling double.
tried to
Bookended,
give
of
it to
course,
her
by natural 20s. But
I'm trying to give it to her this whole time.
yeah. So, in the reverse effect in this instance, Emil got some improved research as well in visiting with Katara. Now, you do kind of get to know through the course of this research the properties of the T. Veronica virus. You can definitely recognize it if you see it again, but it's not enough of a sample to be able to replicate it wholesale.
We would need like a pure sample.
Yeah, you would need a pure sample for that. But it is enough to recognize it and its properties, and you would definitely be able to recognize it if you perhaps encountered a sample from another creature that was infected with it, and you do also kind of get to understand the I guess more viral nature of it, how it derived from the T virus, and what was the other thing the T Veronica virus came from? I think it was a little bit of progenitor, but things of that nature, and those sorts of
We haven't seen
details.
the progenitor virus, have we?
Katara would probably be familiar with it, at the very least, just because she's familiar with the T virus, and the T virus is derived pretty directly from it. But
Because if I remember correctly, Wesker has the progenitor, right?
essentially, yeah.
But is the progenitor used as like a viral weapon? Like, are there like progenitor zombies?
Not generally on its own.
Yeah. Okay. So Emil
like
has no idea what the progenitor is. So while we're doing this, he's like, all right, I see a lot of T virus, but there's a whole lot of something else in here I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, that would be progenitor.
Yeah. Is that something new?
It's not new. It's been around for a while, at least in use with a few other, or with T virus, I should say.
Oh, so this has been around for a while since with a name like progenitor.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All right, I'll have to keep my eye out for that then. Actually, there is something that I want to talk to you about. apparently we make a hell of a team.
Yeah.
I have some plans for the far or hopefully near future. I want to go into business making vaccines and antiviral remedies for this type of thing. Once we get going, I want you to be my head scientist.
Wow. That's quite the leap. But I wouldn't mind that. I'm fine with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If anybody were to be doing, I wouldn't trust anybody more than you. I don't trust anybody more than you when it comes to this type of thing.
Well, thank you. I mean, that actually means a lot. Antiviral vaccines. That'll be good. That'll be very useful in the event that this explodes even farther in the future.
Well, you said they've been hitting the black markets, yeah?
Yeah, from the little bit of information that I did get, and now it's confirmed that T. Veronica is the new, or at least the new virus that I necessarily didn't hear about, but I heard a rumor itself.
Yeah. Well, if they're still out there, they're probably going to be pumping out more stuff. And if a crime family is able to get a hold of it, it's just a matter of time before small gangs and, corner pushers are able to get their hands on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Well, I'll let you know if anything I'll let you know once that develops.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So with that, you guys go your separate ways once again after the second month. But rewinding a bit, 1 week into the break, Emil, you just finished up your application and sent that in, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
and I've put together my resume, my military history, and
okay,
all my medical credentials, all that stuff. My military history that I'm allowed to put on paper, and also I'll put Chauncey's sister and if do I know if I'm allowed to put Mr. Fox as a reference?
You're not quite sure about that one. Like you said, you don't even know if Mr. Fox is his name.
I know, but he at least because the thing is, I know that because like you said, the FBC is now, or the CIA now owes the FBC something. Would that be through Mr. Fox? Is he their? Would I know if he was their contact? If they know who he is, so I can be he can vouch for me.
Yeah, I suppose you would know from that instance that they are at least aware of him, at least at the highest level.
Yeah.
Although the freaking human resources might give you a weird look. It's it says Mr. Fox here. I'm not quite sure what if that's a fully fleshed out
Mr. Fox.
Yeah, reference, but
all right. So I'll put first I guess I can't really do this, but I'll ask. Actually, no. Screw it. I'm going past Chauncey. I'm just gonna go ahead and do I have Chauncey's sister's contact information?
That's a good question. By this point, I would say you do, because because you invited her to the get-together, so you would have had to.
Oh, that's true. That's right. So yeah, I'll contact her and ask her if it's all right to put her as a reference on the FBC form.
And she's totally all right with it.
Mm-hmm. And then it's weird having ties with the CIA. Because you technically don't have ties with the CIA.
In your particular case, yeah.
This is true. So yeah, I'll have all that information. I'll have her as a reference, just so I can, definitely get my foot into the door.
All right. And you definitely get your foot into the door. So about a week later, you get called in for an interview at the nearest FBC facility, which is in Philadelphia.
I'll drop by Chauncey's while I'm after.
Yeah. So you go in for your interview, and it's a bit of a, smaller facility. As you know, the Bioterra at this point isn't a necessarily huge, widespread concern, so they get by with what funding they can, but it gets the job done, and it's a nice new building. You're kind of pulled into a small side office for your interview with the human resources manager, and given your qualifications, he does seem quite inclined to you. Of course, you're run through the usual mill of questions, What do you think you could bring to the FBC? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? All that jazz.
I don't know how to answer that kind of question, because realistically, his answer is to replace them.
But nonetheless, you are.
I met, like, in 5 years, I see myself in a position of power.
Yeah. Word in very interview-like manner.
Yeah.
But yeah, so go ahead
in 5
and
years,
make
you're gonna be working for me.
Make a persuasion check with advantage for your qualifications.
Can I, for this purpose, since it is part of my this is basically part of my my job, can I make an intelligence persuasion check?
I was actually considering that. I will say
it's gonna be -2 if it's persuasion.
Give me a line from your interview that might reasonably rely more on your intelligence than your charisma, and we'll change it over.
A line from my interview?
Yeah.
Well, like what? In what question? What kind of question am I at?
Let's see. We'll say the human resources manager is just kind of looking over your resume, flipping through your pages, like, yes, and he pushes up his glasses and says, so. Let's see. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself in a position of power.
What would be your approach to handle the increasing bioweapons epidemic, should it become as prevalent as things such as the drug trade?
Well, seeing as I just already talked with this about Katara, I've got a lot of things to say about this. But how would he word that, though? Because, again, it involves replacing them. Like, that's its intention, anyways. Man. He would probably say something along the lines of, like, I don't know, can I just make an intelligence check and see what pops out? No.
What does Emil say?
He already knows what he's going to say. I'm trying to figure out what he's going to say. He came for this interview prepared. I got a couple minutes, man. He had a week. He would say, well, first of all, focusing on, like, first response type stuff, making sure that the public is aware that, like, vaccines and immediate. I mean, that's like, he's gonna say this a lot more eloquently, but basically what he says is, well, first response is the most important thing with this kind of thing. We need to make sure that the public is aware that there are vaccines and cures, and there's something that the government is able to do to help them should an epidemic happen in their area. They need to know that there's somebody there to protect them, and they need to know that there's something that can be done if one of their friends or family or dear loved ones is infected.
And there are no such vaccines or cures at this point in time.
That is true, and that's why I wish to be a part of your organization. I have a lot of history in the medical field and pharmaceuticals, and I hope to put some research into creating vaccines and cures.
All right, go ahead and make an intelligence persuasion check.
So that would round out to a +2 because I have a -2 in persuade.
Well, technically, it would just be your intelligence modifier because it places the skill as if it was under that ability score.
Oh, so, right. Okay, so then that's just another +2, so that's just an 11.
Yeah, and with your advantage still for your qualifications.
I forgot that I had the advantage. So this is you said at +4, right?
Yeah.
Better, 17.
All right. So you're dismissed from the interview, and you kind of go back to your home. And they said they'll be in touch with you with the results. But you feel like you made an impression on that gentleman. And about another week goes by before you do receive a follow-up call saying you've got the job. But with your particular area of expertise, because like over at that facility, at that headquarter, it's mostly like paperwork and, bookkeeping and whatnot. So your skills would sort of be more so on a on-call basis type of thing. So you're still going to be paid regularly, but essentially to be on retainer for when to be available so that when they call you in, you're there, is what you're getting paid for.
So basically, I'm not like working on site, but once a big thing happens, I'm just going to be one of those guys who checks up on people. Yeah,
you're one of the first calls they make. Should an event that requires your expertise be
as my medic or my military history was also a part of my application. Would I be able to get basically, I guess literally just be a combat medic, where instead of being like the medics that are in the tents, I would be the guy who's deployed with the unit. That is
among the purview that they're keeping you in mind for, as combat medic type of stuff. And you actually come to realize that the military aspect of the FBC isn't too incredibly fleshed out at this point in time.
That needs to be fixed.
Yeah, it still exists, as you saw with their camp.
Yeah,
in Chicago, but it's like they don't have the necessarily enough funding to make that a huge expansive part of their job. They're mostly like first responder types at this point in time.
Okay, that's fine.
But it is growing as the perceived threat of viral bioweapons increases. But with that job, you do get a couple of items that come with it. First of all, you get a new personal item, which is an FBC FBC ID, which will get you access to FBC facilities wherever they're found, or immediately get you in with any FBC agents that you might come into contact with. Immediately designate yourself as a friendly. You also get a copy of their training manual.
What? Hold on. Let me see it.
Oh,
dang it!
Welcome to the FBC.
Oh, dang it! I could do that right now. That sucks. I've got 2 books, and they're both really good. Oh no. Dang. Okay, I'm gonna shelve this one.
Shelf that
I'm
one
gonna
for
read
now.
it, but I'm gonna read it and just like yep, okay. Put it in a drawer somewhere and make sure that I have it available should I need it.
All right. So, in the meantime, what else are you doing?
All right. So yeah. Also, speaking of books, I do also need to read a book. That can just be done throughout the month. I'm pretty sure the 4 months. I'm pretty sure I can read a 47-hour book in 4 months.
So you're reading. What was the title of the book?
Hold on. Let me look at it in Roll20 because it's a long title. It is the title of the book is.
Should be under Wondrous Items.
That's Lennox's. The Key to Genetic Sequencing by Dr. Alexander Ashford, which is a name that Emil does not recognize until right about now.
So you're going through that book.
I'm going through the key to
Yeah.
genetic sequencing.
So that one's quite a lengthy read, but over the course of the
Yeah.
4 months, you have plenty
It's a
of
bit-
time for it.
it's a bit
Especially if
dense.
it's a bit dense. So if you kind of take your time with it, you would be finishing it up just by the end of the break. But if you
Yeah.
rush through it, you could probably do it in the first week or two.
Okay, then I'm probably like, while I'm waiting for my call back and while I'm waiting to hear, to like, get the interview in those first few weeks, I'll probably just be reading it.
Yeah. So either way, you get through it, which is quite a hefty benefit. You increase your
I read it
intelligence score.
twice just to make sure I know it.
Yeah, you increase your intelligence score then by another 2.
All right, and that goes on in my connection, or in my
Mhm.
collection. I mean,
So I think that brings you up to cap you off at 20.
yep. Too bad I finished the book after I had the interview.
Yeah, right.
All right, so I got the job at the FBC. I helped Katara with her condition. I researched the vial. I want to do. Oh, actually, how much is it to hire an investigator?
I guess it depends on the quality of the investigator.
Apparently, I've got $2,500.
It's true. Oh yeah, you were like dead broke, I think, last time too.
Oh yeah, by the way, I only have $2,500.
Yeah. So
Well, actually, since I am going to be like getting a salary, how much am I going to be making?
oh
from
right,
the
that's
FTC?
right. Yeah, I forgot about that. So you get you're getting paid $1,000 a month from that. So you do get another
$1,000
$4,000 in total.
All right, so that's $4,000 by the end of the break.
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, I would like to hire a pretty decent investigator.
All right. So I'll say for a decent quality investigator, I'm not sure what the usual cost is, so I'll just go off the top of my head here. I'll say I'll set you back about $1,000, depending on the size of the job.
Okay, $1,000, like total.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I want to hire an investigator to find out if there is a Elliot Walker in Chicago.
Okay.
Actually, that's it for now. I just want to find out if there's an Elliot Walker in Chicago.
All right. So there's an investigator sort of prowling the streets of Chicago, searching for one Elliot Walker. And we'll say that's ongoing over the course of the break, and you'll have to wait to hear back about that.
Yeah, I can, like, if it's going to be that long, I'm willing to pay an amount, like, per month or whatever, to keep the investigator working hard.
Yeah. So we'll just say mark off $1,000 for now for that.
Just for now? Okay.
And then we'll see where that goes.
All right. Oh, wait a minute. Did we get an ID on the car that Aiden stole?
You did not know.
Right. We just know it's brown. Actually, can I hire?
No, I don't even think you'd seen it. Oh no, wait, no. You asked
because we asked the guys
the
who
guards,
who
right? Yeah.
Okay. I think that will be it for Emil. Lisa is back now, I think, so we can.
Oh, is Lisa back?
Yeah, so I think
I am back.
she can have her
Welcome
chat
back.
with Emil.
Sorry.
So you wanted to have a chat with
Yeah.
Emil? Would this have been on your way out of
I can
Chicago?
call him.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay, I could call him up.
Oh,
Yes.
after the interview, I'll just stop by.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're in the area. You're in the state.
There you go.
So
I was gonna
Emil,
hang out anyways, but
yeah.
like now it actually has a purpose.
Yeah.
So yeah, a week after the events in Chicago, Emil is at the FBC facility in Philadelphia for his interview. On the road trip back home, you stop by in Stony Brook and make your way out to the suburbs, approaching the exterior of Chauncey's house. And so you see that it's kind of like a split level 2-story residence with a relatively flat roof and a driveway leading into a garage. And the exterior of the lower floor is wrapped in a gray brick, while the upper floor sports a kind of tan colored vinyl siding. And so you make your way in there, and of course you're always welcome. You're let in by Chauncey, and you're able to hang out with Archaea for a bit.
Yep. Chauncey? Hey, Archaea.
First of all, hold on. What time of day is it? Very important, actually.
Probably at some point in the afternoon, because you've been on the road a few hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then he would have seen her before he even went in the house. She would be sitting on the front porch. I'm guessing there's a porch. Just kind of.
Yeah, just kind of a driveway, and just like a slight incline up to the front door.
Yep. Yeah, she's just kind of sitting on the porch, strumming the guitar. She looks up. Hey, Emil, how's it going?
It's going all right. Just came back from an interview.
Ah, an interview, huh?
Yep, finally getting a job.
She stands up. She hugs you. The formalities, of course.
Yep.
And she's like, I need to talk to you for a minute.
All right.
And what kind of porch is this? Is this like a porch where there'd be chairs?
It's not a very full porch.
Okay.
It's just
So it's
there's just like a couple
up.
of steps leading up to the front door. Nothing
Okay.
too
Then
magnificent. That department, there's a lot of yard space, but
yeah. Then she just kind of sits down on the stairs and gestures to Emil to sit with her.
I will sit next to Archaea.
She kind of looks over at you and says, well, I have seen some stuff, but she looks over at you and she's like, so, I need a favor of you.
Favor?
It should be easy for you. You're a medical professional.
Yep.
I want you to draw my blood and do a analysis of it.
What's wrong? You not feeling good?
Nothing out of the ordinary, just curious.
Well, something's wrong. You should probably tell me. There's been some similar type things happening with other people that I'm working with as well. If there's something going on.
It's December, right?
Well, this is all happening. September. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, a week later, so probably early October.
Okay. Nothing but the normal growing pains and stuff, At least I hope they're growing pains.
Yeah, it's still bad.
Still bad.
I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do to help with that other than, over-the-counter medications for that kind of thing. But I can look into it. How have you been with Violet?
Violet, interesting. Have I seen Violet?
Well, you have been kind of meeting with her on a semi-regular basis.
I hadn't seen Emil until after I got back from Violet.
Yeah.
I didn't. But he was gone. Yeah. Okay. She's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't. I guess this is more of a question for Raph. But speaking to Archaea, she doesn't talk about me much, does she?
Does she?
Unless it's a topic of conversation, she doesn't generally talk about him, but she doesn't seem to avoid talking about Emil in any regard around you.
So if Archaea would strike up a conversation about Emil, she doesn't
Yeah, she'd be like, "Oh, that's Emil." Yeah.
Okay. Not much your topic of conversation. I've had a couple conversations about you with her, but nothing bad or anything. She doesn't like tuck her tail and run every time your name is mentioned.
That's good. That's good. I haven't seen her much, and
Oh yeah, Archaea would remember that from when they had that conversation about how he ran away and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, no, she's good. She's definitely nice. Seems to run in your family.
Yeah, well, you haven't met my other sister yet.
Well, you know how sisters can be.
I've got two of
So
them.
I wouldn't know.
I've got two of them. You can have the other one.
What does she
doesn't
do?
like me. She's a school teacher. She would have
Huh.
been the one who would have homeschooled you if she didn't hate me.
Well, I don't think she hates you, but
If you didn't know
maybe possible. But yeah, it's good to see you again.
Oh, of course.
I'm glad you came by.
Well, I was in town apparently.
Apparently. And she starts after that conversation, to change the subject, she kind of starts playing a song that she wrote. And just starts playing the music to it to Emil.
Oh, I don't recognize that.
Make a quick performance check.
I was gonna say,
really-
have you make a
I really
He definitely
don't
doesn't.
recognize it.
He definitely doesn't recognize it, but let's see if he likes it.
Yeah, performance. Come on, roll 20. Please don't do this.
It's not half bad.
17.
She's got quite a gift for her age. And it's got like a kind of I guess depending on what you're going for, it does have a nice sound to it though. It's pleasant to the ears.
Archaea kind of looks up at you and goes, well, I kind of, she gets kind of shy. And she says, I wrote it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You got quite a talent there.
At least it's not busting kneecaps.
Anybody can bust kneecaps. Writing music is a whole separate thing.
I suppose. Well, I need to make a quick phone call, but if you would like, you can come in and chill. I'm sure Chauncey can keep you entertained.
Yep. All right. Let's head inside. Yo, Chauncey.
Yeah, and Chauncey, you probably have to look for him in the garage or something. You make your way over there, and he seems to have invested in some new gym equipment, and is starting to fill some of his space with that. And he's just like, "Hey, yo, you got your interview with the FBC yet?"
Yeah, I did actually. I just came back.
Ah, nice. So, I did mine a little bit ago. It's looking like I'm gonna be getting the job. I mean, they called me back. They hooked me up with this training manual though, and he's just like, just going to town on some weights. He's just like, there's some good stuff in here. I'm gonna make sure I'm fit for duty.
Yeah, I definitely. Wait, no. I guess at that point I wouldn't have like he's like, oh, yeah, I just got mine. I haven't read it yet, but.
Yeah, so he's just been training hard. It looks like.
I like after that, then I go home. I look at him like, oh. No. I'm like,
Yeah.
When I look at it, I'm like, oh, is this pretty good? No, typical.
But yeah, so I guess now at this point, and we will say you probably spend a good little bit during your visit just hanging out and having a fun time.
Spend the rest of the day there before I head back in the evening, and then head back to the bar, meet with Alice again, escort drunken belligerents out of as usual.
And thus is a full day for a meal. So,
Day for a meal.
Rap,
in
really
that
quick.
case, we could probably go back, yeah?
Oh, okay. I didn't know what your plan was there. I'm sorry.
Well, because I was just gonna, if you want, we could get started on your end. So I'm not sure how much you heard earlier, because apparently you dipped out a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I dipped out. I'm so sorry.
that's good.
Really quick, actually, before I just remembered, before I would have left, obviously, I would have gotten her blood sample.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I also would have contacted Violet afterwards to get more information, or first I'll just ask her if she has blood work on Archaea readily available.
All right. So you call her up.
Right.
Phone. The line rings. Your sister Violet Johansson, or rather, she'd probably have a different surname because she's married. But you call
Violet
her up.
something Johansson.
Yeah, Violet Johansson something.
Whatever.
And you call her up, and she does pick up on the other end, who your sister in Jacksonville, Florida, and she's like, yeah.
Yeah, Archaea just talked to me. She said she needed her blood drawn to. Not quite sure what. She said she wasn't feeling right or something. She wanted me to check it up on something. Can you get me some of her old blood work so I can have a reference, a baseline?
Yeah, actually, I have some good records on that. That's actually something I've been meaning to speak with you about, Emil.
Something wrong?
Well, it's hard to say, but there are definitely some things that are different.
She's very different.
Yeah, you could say that again. Last time
I did prep her of what she would be dealing with, right?
Yeah, you gave it.
So
Well,
this-
you
so when
did,
she-
but she didn't quite
so
believe
when
you
she-
until she started.
Yeah. But I guess my question is, when she says different, does she mean different as in what I already know, or different as in
Different from
something
what she
in
already-
addition to that?
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
something like different.
Even more so. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the last time I checked in with her. It's hard to place it, but there was just something abnormal in her bloodstream. And there's just, it's not something, again, I could quite place. I can't recognize it with any sort of strain of any sort of flu or sickness or anything that I can discern. But even in addition to her physiological differences from other kids her age, I don't know. There's something else flowing through her veins.
That's disconcerting.
Yeah, it is.
I'll look into it. Actually, are you doing anything this week?
Well, I've got the usual slate of appointments. Weekend's pretty free.
You mind if I drop by?
No, yeah, sure. You know where to find me?
Yep. Still same address?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Figure out, like, rattle off whatever the latest address I know of hers is.
Yep.
All right. And then I'll whatever date it is, I'll like say the weekend of that date.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll fly down to meet up with her, and then I'll probably be with her because Emil wants to spend some time with her, since he's in this mode of his life right now where he's like catching up on like the last 20 years
Yeah.
that he missed. So he wants to hang out with her and like be with her as a brother, but then also do a whole lot of medicine.
Yeah. So yeah, you definitely
he'll
get that
so,
catch. If you're taking a flight out, that'll probably cost you some.
Yeah. Probably not gonna drive all the way down to Florida in my car.
Yeah. So we'll just say, for a quick round trip, we'll just say mark $800 off.
How much?
800.
800.
8? Okay. I've got money now, so I'm not afraid to spend it.
That's true. And then also don't
800
forget,
would be-
in living costs, $150 a month, for
150
you.
a month?
Yeah.
So let's just real quick. 150 a month would be 1, 3, so 600 at the end. So I'll just take that off right now. at the end of the 4 months, and then 800 for the plane ticket. Okay, so I have 4,100.
Yeah, so that's 1,400 in expenses total with those two.
Yeah. So I head down to Florida, and I'll probably spend a weekend with her, talking with her about life and probably meeting her husband for the first time and her kids.
Yeah. It's definitely. Well, I guess some of it's a rowdy bunch. Some of her kids are on their way out of the house at this point, but. Yeah, that's an interesting experience. Most definitely meeting your nephews and nieces, and brother-in-law, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. Emil's finally gotten to the point though where he doesn't feel like he's like a disappointment, and he can show up and be like, "Oh, what do you do?" It's like, "Oh, I work for the government now."
Yeah, that's true.
So he doesn't. He feels like he can show his face around his family now. So he's gonna want to try to spend time with her over the weekend, and then. Check up on Arkea's blood samples while he's there, and of course, with all the last 4, I guess he only missed 2 years while he was at college of what was going on in her development.
All right, good to know. So yeah, you check in, and she's able to show you some records that she's been keeping in regards to the what tests and whatnot she's been doing with Arkea, doing the usual pediatrician stuff, and what she's been able to observe. Now, she would also have on record some of Arkea's blood samples, so you're kind of able to go over those.
And I'll bring with me the most recent blood sample to compare.
Okay.
From the previous week.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Why don't you meet me in the side room real quick?
Okay.
All right, be back in a sec for everyone, for all the other players.
Sup?
All right, so.
What's up, Violet? How are you?
I'm doing. I know that's not what you asked, but that's how I am. So, these are the samples that of her blood that I've been working with over this past year or so. Now, there's been some changes over time, but overall it's been pretty constant since you introduced me to her after that whole ordeal that you guys went through in Raccoon City. You don't happen to have any samples of her before that incident, do you?
No. All the samples that I did have of her were confiscated by the government when we left.
Right. So... this is what her blood work looks like now, and she kind of shows you some paperwork and also some scans and records and whatnot of the properties of it. And you, I guess, with all the research you've been doing, you would recognize immediately the traces of T-virus in her bloodstream.
Yeah.
And she points out, she's like, and I don't know, it looks like it might be some sort of recent development, but you say she's had this weird growth syndrome her entire life, so it's really hard to place, especially since we don't know much about what her blood work would have looked like before you met her. But,
well, I know what they looked like, I just don't have them. Do I recognize if that's different, like, just like chemically?
Well, you wouldn't know what it was like before you met her, though.
Oh, before I met her, yeah. But
yeah.
That's true. Because what I mean is during the outbreak, did she already have T-virus in her blood?
Did you test any during the outbreak?
I'm pretty sure I did. I know I tested everybody at some point. Because I had samples on pretty much everybody. Because I know I did Katara, and I know I did Ali, because those were probably like the biggest ones that I think I spent most of my time on. But I'm pretty sure I also did Arkea.
Okay. Well, in that case, I would say you weren't too sure what you were looking for then. So I don't know if you would have been able to isolate it.
She also left part way through Raccoon City, so
that's true. That's also true.
It would have had to have been in the first arc.
Yeah,
that I got her blood sample.
So for the time being, we'll just say it's hard to place.
I probably I actually don't think I got an opportunity to get her blood sample during Raccoon City. Now that I think about it. So do I tell her about the T virus?
That's up to you.
That's like, well, I mean, I'll let her know that I recognize it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You said this is a new development.
I mean, it almost looks as though it might be, but again, there's no way to know for certain with just what we have now.
How long ago did this start popping up? Within the last few years? Within the last year?
I mean, yeah, just as long as you've handed her over to me as a subject, so to speak, as a client.
Okay, patient. So it's been in her bloodstream since she's been a patient with her.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know if anything. Do I like it? Does it look the virus? Does it look stable in her? Because I would know what that looks like in Katara.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely. Oh yeah, with how it looks in Katara, I mean, it looks similar to what you've seen in Katara. It definitely doesn't look like one of the infected or one of the zombies or anything like that.
Does it look like it's doing something similar to what Katara's is doing to her right now?
Similar, but not the same.
She's not going to start falling apart soon?
Not that you can tell.
Okay. I have another patient who has this in their bloodstream as well, and she is currently going through some complications. Let me know if anything develops. There's nothing more I can tell you about this, unfortunately. I hope you understand.
Yeah, well, you're the G-Man now, so...
It sounds really weird coming from, well, you. Like, as a... I guess that just sounds really weird coming from anybody.
Well, I'm sure you'll get used to it. You're no stranger to working for Uncle Sam.
Yeah, but I wanted to be a doctor. And just a doctor. I was using the military as a, jumping off point. Now I'm in deep, I guess.
Well, it seems like it.
Yeah, so I'll let her know all of the precautionary stuff that I do with Katara to make sure that it doesn't get worse. But I'll tell her that if it changes, let me know.
All right. Good to know. So, let's get back to the table in that case. All right. So, getting done with...
you're dying. No, I'm kidding.
So, Emil, you depart from Violet's...
Don't scare me like that.
So, with that being said, we could kind of retroactively go back here now and get
I think I've got
Archaea's part done.
Cool.
So, Archaea, so I'm not sure how much you heard when you'd gone out earlier, but...
I heard that he was going to his sister's house for
No, I mean, like,
something.
way at the beginning, when you left
no.
the first time.
No, okay.
But we'll cut back into there.
Okay.
Okay, see you in a bit, Mel. So, after departing from Chicago, you arrive back home at the Clancy residence, and both you and Chauncey do see that there are some voicemails waiting for you on your home answering machine upon your return. So, if the two of you were to listen to them, do you?
Oh yeah, she walk in the door and kind of do the whole like backpack over her shoulder, kind of like tilting her head the other way, just hit the button.
All
Kind of
right.
like the busy like person, you know.
Yeah. So if you were to listen to the voicemail, this is what you would hear. You have 2 unheard messages. Hey, Archaea, it's me. It's Robert. I got your voicemail, and well, I'm not entirely sure if I'm understanding you correctly, and if I am, I don't know what I did wrong. I mean, maybe we need to talk. Maybe we can work things out. I mean, I really like you, Archaea, and I don't know, just call me back, okay? If you could. Thanks. Bye. Hey, Chauncey. It's Cambria. So I heard everything went well in Chicago. That's, good to hear. Look, I know I've been a bit difficult these past couple of years. And for good reason, of course. As you well know, we came from nothing, so I had to work very hard for my position. To have it taken away, to have the Clancy name disparaged in the intelligence community for your mistake and your lack of trust in me, that just really hurt. We used to trust each other with everything. Now I'm just left wondering, what happened to you? Yes, sorry, I didn't mean for that all to come out. It's just... Look, things have been getting better, and, you just ran a successful op, so maybe we can meet at some point. I have to debrief you about Chicago anyhow. And we can talk, and break bread, and bring things back to the way they were. Anyway, you know how to reach me, so just get back to me whenever you can, okay? Thanks. Bye. End of messages. And that's what all you hear.
Interesting. So I'm gonna say that Archaea did the same thing I did while listening to Robert's message, which was cry. So is this the same? This is like the day she got back, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Then she is going to pick up the phone and dial Robert's number.
Okay. And, well, I guess upon getting back, it would be kind of late at night.
Oh, is it late?
So, yeah.
She'll wait till the morning then.
Yeah, you'll wait till later on. But, yeah, when you do dial his number, Robert does seem to answer on the other end. He's just like, oh, hey, Archaea?
Yeah, it's me.
Hey, did you get my message?
I got it.
I mean...
And you're definitely right. We definitely need to talk. I was out of here in a hurry, and I didn't want anything to stand in my way if I didn't come back.
I'm not quite sure I understand. Didn't come back. What? What's
She
going on?
She kind of sighs and she's like, all right, are you busy right now?
I mean, I gotta be going to school in a little bit, but I have a moment.
All right. After school, meet me at the library. I'll tell you everything.
Okay. I'll see you then.
Right.
And so later on, you two reconvene back at the library to continue this conversation.
Right? Who gets there first?
Make a mobility check. No, I'm kidding. No. He seems.
Is Robert waiting after her?
Yeah, he seems to be there by the time you arrive.
All right. She kind of walks up the stairs to the meeting reading area.
Yeah.
And he notices that she isn't the confident Archaea that he's used to. She's kind of dragging her feet, kind of slumped a little bit. Definitely looks like she's been through the ringer.
Mm-hmm.
And she walks over and she's like, well, I guess it's time to come clean then. And she sits down. How long were they in Chicago?
About a day.
A day, okay. So, altogether, a week? Travel and everything?
Oh, no. It was just just a couple hours away. So
okay.
Yeah. So you went to Emil's one evening, then traveled overnight to Chicago, and then got back the next night. So yeah, it was about you're away in total for about 1 day actually. Yeah, you got back.
Okay. All right.
It was all the same day of the reunion.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, because there was the day of the reunion, but you guys traveled overnight to get to Chicago. So, and then got back the next evening.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, not long.
All right. Okay. Well, my trip to see Emil, which I know you've heard plenty about, there was information given at that reunion, and it wasn't good. I don't know how much I can go into, but let's just say that there was another quote-unquote smaller scale of Raccoon City in uptown Chicago.
I mean, what's this have to do with you? You're saying you went there?
I did go there, and yes, before you ask, I did go into the infected zone, and yes, I came back alive. Clearly.
Oh my. You...
This has to do with me, to answer your previous question, because my biological father was sighted in uptown Chicago.
Yeah, you were telling me about him, weren't you?
Yeah, Aiden.
Yeah.
He's looking for somebody on his infamous list. She kind of scrunches her face. Walker, I think his name is. Simmons. And Simmons. Apparently they're in Chicago or something, I don't know. But he's definitely looking for them, and he definitely is not happy with them. And so our group was called in, I guess.
I mean, but what of that message you left the other day? That, I mean, gave me a bit of a scare. I mean, are you saying about us?
Tears start running down her face. not fast, bawling, crying. Just kind of right when you start first crying. Robert, I don't want to hurt you, okay? And maybe that's what's best, is to get some distance. With me comes a lot of baggage. And Emil and Chauncey have been great, and they gave up whatever plans they had to raise me and make me who I am. But I can't sit here and expect you to do the same. I can't expect you to sit around and wonder, if and where I am, and if I will come back from that. Because I am still going to seek out Aiden, and I am still going to hopefully find him someday. And I don't know what that's going to do to me, or what could happen because of that.
And at this point, he's kind of looked down in the course of this talk, and it looks very subdued and very restrained, but you get the sense that he might be starting to well up as well, and he's just like, oh, okay, I understand. And he just hastily just gets up and just storms off.
Storms off in a library.
Yeah.
Is he storming off or is he running off? Like, is he stomping off or is he like running?
He's storming off. He's just walking hastily.
Then she's going to run after him and put her hands on his shoulders.
He gets, down the stairs and out the library, and as you catch up to him, you stop him just outside of it.
On the sidewalk. Yeah. Look, Robert. I still... And she thinks for a second. She says, no. I know that I love you. And that's why I have to do this.
He's just like, yeah, that's fine. It's okay.
And she says, but if you're still around when all of this is over, I'll be back for you.
And he's just kind of got his hands at his side, and he just looks real scrunched up. And he's just like,
Aw.
yeah, okay.
I
need to.
him.
And he takes a hug, and after a moment, he just kind of reciprocates the hug. And he just says to you, and I'm gonna need some time. Just give me some space for now, okay?
I understand. And she definitely looks sad and depressed and stuff, and she kind of just looks at him for a second and then walks off.
Yeah, you see for a moment as you look at him, his backpack over his shoulder and his plain school clothes. You kind of look at his back as he walks away a fair bit before you continue onwards. Mm-hmm. So, is that going to be... and like we mentioned earlier, you have about 4 months of downtime. 4 months passed without incident. So if there's anything else you want to get done during that time, otherwise, I guess we have, I think Chauncey is here now.
Really quick. I do have a couple more loose ends that Arcane needs to tie up during this 4 months. After her meeting with Emil, she's going to give it about a month, and then she's going to call him.
Okay.
And ask if he found anything out.
Okay, so Emil, you get called back from Archaea.
Yep.
Hey, did you find anything out on,
Well, is there something you're looking for in particular?
No, I just want to know what's in my blood.
Yep. Well, I don't know if you had it before when we were in Raccoon City together, but you definitely have T-virus in you.
I see. That's interesting. Okay.
I don't currently know if that has anything to do with your growth problem or your, with that, but you do have T-virus in you.
Okay. Oh boy. She kind of looks down. Just kind of, alright, so what does that mean exactly?
Well, it means you and Katara have a lot in common. And that means that you definitely cannot go to any other doctors besides me and Violet, and it means you won't have a normal life from this point forward. But I assume you already knew.
When did I ever have a normal life?
You weren't destined to have a normal life, kid.
Apparently not.
Those with truly extraordinary lives wish to have normal lives, but it is the curse of the truly extraordinary to be truly extraordinary.
And now Archer is just kind of staring off into space, kind of like, what did he just say?
Was that a compliment?
Right? All right. Well, thank you for looking into it for me.
Yeah.
Nothing else that I need to be worried about?
Nothing you need to be worried about now, but we'll have to see as it goes on and as you keep developing. Keep your appointments with Violet.
Okay. I will. And she's like, what time is it? Rash?
I don't know. Whatever time you called.
Okay, I called about what kind of life does Emil live? She called when Emil would have picked up.
I mean, he's pretty much at home for most of the day,
time,
except for either in the mornings or at night.
Okay, she probably called you. She knows you get up really early, but so she probably called you around maybe 9, 10.
Yeah, he'll be home then.
Okay.
Obviously, he is. He picked up.
Yeah, obviously. Okay. She says thank you, and she'll keep her appointments with Violet, and she loves you and all that good stuff. And then she says goodbye and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Stay safe. Tell Chauncey I said hi.
Yeah, I will.
So
now
was Mel saying something?
yes,
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if Lisa was done yet or not.
No.
You still got something to do, Lisa?
Yeah, I got a couple, about maybe 2 or 3 more things to do. After her phone call with Emil, she's gonna go find Chauncey, since Doc is here now. And wherever Chauncey is, she's at. So I don't know where he is, but she's there.
Okay. So the question is Doc available right now?
Yeah, is he available?
How do you know? How do you go, yeah, I'm available? I know I'm actually available. What if I got up to go get a drink? I'm here.
I mean, that's what I was asking. That's what I was asking, if you're available.
No, I heard Lisa go, yeah, he's available.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I was like, well, that's a slight assumption,
I think it
but
came out wrong.
I am here.
Okay.
Oh, nice to have you here.
Where
Do you have cam up or?
Chauncey?
No, I haven't switched that yet.
Well, I'm actually gonna go ahead and put you back on the stream since you're here.
So, what? Quick question: It's probably because my screens go into sleep mode that it probably kicked me out this time, because it was still up. I literally clicked it to come back up. I didn't know if that was something that you ran into, because I was watching the stream there for a second and I realized that my thing was gone. So.
Oh, was it? I actually didn't notice that.
Well, like my character's spot wasn't there. I didn't know if you had to alter that.
No. Yeah. I had altered that. Yeah. So I just brought you back up right
20.
now. Yeah, you were here in roll 20. That's all good.
You turned your overlay off on the stream.
Oh, okay. So you just did that out of preference, or just do it to do it?
Yeah. Just to signify that you're not here. But anyway, it doesn't work if we bring all this attention to it.
yeah. True. I guess we can ask later. All right. But yeah. So what's up?
So where's Chauncey?
I mean, probably home.
Don't know where Chauncey is currently.
All right, so wait, hold on. Quick recap. We just finished our job at the FBC place. We got paid.
Yeah.
I gave you the amounts that we got paid, and I guess this can actually take place at any time during the.
Yeah. This is at some point over the break.
We have a 4-month break that we have for off time.
And I went over a lot of this with Doc already, not knowing if he was going to be here. So
Okay.
It was 4 months, not 6.
Yeah, it's 4 months.
Oh, I sent you a card. I did all the maths and stuff for 6 months.
Yeah. So adjust your maths for 4 months.
Yeah, I'll readjust it. Okay. So we went back home. We all split up.
Yeah. So you all have gone your separate ways
throughout the week and stuff.
Yeah. Or throughout the months and whatnot.
I dropped by your place after a while, and we talked about getting into the FBC.
Okay. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
So
I knew I got it.
Archaea tracks you down, talks to you in your house.
Yeah.
I'd be in the
Wherever you
garage,
are.
mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. Find him in the garage, still pumping iron.
I mean, I'm either jacking weights, reading a book, or fixing a car.
She kind of walks into the garage. Just got off the phone with Emil. Hey, can I talk to you really quick about something?
Yeah, just hand me that wrench real fast. I'm working on my car.
She has a wrench. She comes over there, kind of gets in, kind of like leaning over the hood to the side. And she's like, I just got off the phone with Emil.
Yeah, what do you have?
Well, I have some interesting news from Emil. Well, I had him look into something a while ago, about a month ago, and he found something out. So I have the T virus running through my bloodstream.
That figures.
Best pad ever. That figures. And I don't know how to feel about that. But he does say hi. And yeah. She kind of immediately after she says I have the T virus running through my bloodstream, she kind of like tries to get away from that and say other things. So when do you think we're gonna go back to Minnesota and hang with Emil again?
I turn and grab like a little shop rag, and I'm wiping off my tools, keeping the grease off of them, and I'm like, well, want to go to Emil's? Tell me. You want to go, I'll take you.
I have one more thing I gotta do before I can do that. But I really do want to go visit Emil. And she's very excited now. And she kind of like awkwardly hugs him, not to get grease on her.
I'm wiping it off. I'm not getting it on me. I'm wiping it off. I'm getting it on me. Come on now.
Oh, okay.
Put your probably real sweaty.
I gotta read a book and stuff. I can't be having grease on the books. Jack and iron. I can't be doing this.
Then she definitely like wraps her arms around you and bear hugs you and all that good stuff. You're very used to this by now.
whenever you give me the bear hug, I will whisper into your ear, don't think the T virus changes you any. And then I'll let you off on your way, and then get right back into working. Like just like like Leon, why? In conversation right then and there. Like don't think the T virus actually changes who you are, and then I go right back into working.
She walks in from the garage. She walks into wherever the phone is. I'm assuming it's like in the kitchen or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. She picks it up and she calls Katara. I'm assuming she has.
Katara has a cell phone, so yeah.
Yeah.
So you receive a call from the Clancy residence, Katara.
Okay, she just answers. Hello?
Hello, it's Arkea.
Oh, hi, Arkea.
I need to talk to you about something. Emil said you'd probably understand better than anyone.
Okay.
I had Emil look into some blood work of mine about a month ago, and I got the results back. So I found out that I have the T virus in my bloodstream.
Oh. That's... You're gonna go through a very changing experience.
Any heads up?
Headaches. Headaches suck. I'm gonna let you know that now.
Fantastic.
I don't really know too much about anything else that'll happen. I'm going through a lot of stuff myself right now.
I see.
So, either way, as more things develop, and let's say things change, I'll let you know what to look out for.
Please do. And by now, Arkea has like literally adopted Katara as her sister.
Okay. Your much older sister.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a sister that's 50 years old.
Oh, so, dang. Well, I guess you know what that's like.
Stepsister. But she as Katara says, she'll, fill her in. She's like, yeah, thank you. I love you, sis.
Oh, I love you too, sis.
Keep safe.
Always wear your armor.
Keep safe. I love you. I'll hopefully see you soon.
Hopefully. But yeah, we'll keep in touch. Don't worry. You stay safe.
Yeah. I will. Thank you. And she, after saying goodbye and everything, she hangs up and she goes back to the garage. Hey, is that ride still available? She says to Chauncey.
This current one? No, but that one, yes. And I would give you a ride wherever you want to go.
Okay.
No hesitation. Leave right then and there. Step up, let's go.
Definitely need to go to Emil's. Definitely need to go to Emil's. And she, as she says, definitely needs to go to Emil's, she walks out and she goes and packs her bags.
All right.
Her tactical backpack.
So you guys are heading for meals?
Yeah.
So yeah, for the sake of brevity, let's you get there. So what's going to go ahead and do whatever you're going to do while you're there.
She walks up to the front door, knocks.
Emil's not there.
Oh no.
No, I'm kidding.
Don't do this.
Just be an ass.
Yeah. Well, she knows where you would be.
Actually, I was thinking, if anything, I'd probably be at that Thai shop, because I just remembered I need to make a purchase.
Well, yes.
No, I'm at home.
Okay.
I'll be home whenever you guys leave for get there. I hope you would tell me that you're coming before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she would have called you on the night they're going, hey, Emil.
Yeah, see you in a few hours.
We'll be there in a few hours.
So,
what's going on?
She gets up there. She knocks on the door.
He's got Pink Floyd playing. He opens the door.
Nice. She's like, she just hugs him immediately. Doesn't say anything, just hugs him.
Oh.
and she kind of whispers to him, I just needed to see you. And she's like, you can tell that either she's been crying or she's about to cry.
Well, yeah, I'm here.
And she continues to hug you. After a while, she's like, I hated to drop in like this, but I need a sense of normality. And you and Chauncey are the closest thing I have to that. So I needed you guys together.
Yeah. If we're as normal as you're gonna get, then
Poor kid. Yeah, no. Yeah. And she looks over at Chauncey and she's like, so you guys can catch up. I'm gonna go and sit somewhere.
Just so you understand, Chauncey was already gone.
Oh,
Chauncey dropped you off.
you just dropped it off. I figured he stayed. I'm sorry.
Nope. Chauncey is like taking, like he's gotten so used to the coming out.
Yeah, the drop off. Yeah.
And
She
eating and stuff. There was no food, so Chauncey left.
she kind of looks around.
Okay.
As this happens, she looks around and she's like, oh, well, right.
So,
well, I guess you guys aren't catching up. And she kind of just stays with Emil as long as Emil lets her, and
If you want, you can stay the weekend.
yeah, she'll just stay the weekend with him and then go back with Chauncey.
Friday to
Eventually.
Sunday, go to church. Head,
Yeah, go to.
send you back on Monday.
Okay, if I'm going to church, that's the last thing I have to do in this 4-month break.
all right.
Okay, so Sunday morning comes. She goes to church. After the service, she will walk up to the. God, I forgot his name already.
In Brunton,
Yeah,
that would be Father Timothy Schultz.
and she walks over, and she's like, "Hey,
Ah, yes, you again.
I'm back." And
Ah,
she-
well,
she has a
welcome you
smile.
back.
So, how's it been here?
Well, it's been as you've seen, I suppose. Things change slowly in this part of the world.
Count yourself lucky. I wanted to check in with you since the last time I checked in with you wasn't exactly positive.
No, it certainly was not.
I'm happy that, at least for now, I get to have a little bit of sense of normality around here. A lot of stuff has happened, and a lot of it is good, but I look forward to the future.
Well, that is good. We certainly try to make this church a sanctuary as much as we can.
You wouldn't happen to have a minute.
I do, but, you know, you're not the only one, it seems, trying to get my attention, but the moment is yours. Is there something you needed to talk about?
Just wanted to see if you would say a quick prayer with me, and I'll be on my way.
Most definitely. And you stop by, and he kind of scoots into one of the pews with you, and
Yep.
you lean over for a prayer. So,
Yep. And she just prays.
with that being the case,
Yep.
is there anything else anybody else wanted to get done over the break?
But yeah, I just wanted one more thing I wanted to
Yep.
do. I wanted to check on my tactical gloves.
Check on your what?
I wanted the tactical gloves to see if they
Oh,
came
right.
in.
Oh, the bronze.
Yeah, so because you did put mention that to who was that? That was in the gun shop in Brunton,
Yeah.
which
I can
was
pick
Merle's
that
gun
up for you.
store.
I can pick that up for you and
Yeah.
get it to you.
Oh yeah, true. Emil could just ship it.
That would have happened within the first month. Probably. So I can get that to you when we meet.
Yeah, you know what?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You meet in the second month, so
First month, end of the first month.
yeah,
So
yeah.
second month. That's true. Yeah, second month.
actually,
So
just could you also, before you get here, check to see if let's see if my order came in.
oh yeah, you actually called me earlier.
So
Oh, man.
you head over to Merle's gun store. Merle's still there with big grin on his face, like, "Hey, nice to see you again."
Oh yeah. So you got the product.
Oh yeah, the one your friend put in an order for. We
Yeah.
certainly have that on hand. He's got a
Alright.
quality pair of tactical fingerless gloves here. I'll set you back about
Fantastic.
$100 for that.
All right. Oh, didn't she already pay?
I don't believe
no,
so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you
Okay.
paid for what you bought, but he said that would be available when next you came in.
There you go. $100.
Thank you very much, sir. These are yours.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so we'll
Um,
say when next you meet Katara, you deliver it. So,
Do you happen to have any 7.62 on you?
7.62 NATO rifle rounds. We got a few in stock. We got about 5 rounds worth that are hot and available for purchase.
I'll probably pick those up while I'm here.
All right. So you that'll cost you about
Quagmire over
$50. Yeah. It went Quagmire for a sec.
All right. You said 50?
Yeah, 50 for 5 rounds.
All right. $10 each. All right. Yeah. All right. So I got 5. Man. Freaking 7.62. I only take 4.
Oh, you take 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't want to keep 1 in my pocket.
Well, I mean,
I just
doesn't
needed to
hurt.
level. I just needed. Yeah, but that's an inventory space that can be spent healing people. So yeah, I'm just gonna take 4. Load up my
Alright.
rifle with it,
Good to know.
and then I'll drop off the gloves when I go meet with Katara, and we
Let
do
me
all that.
see if I could get you the stats for that right quick. Actually,
For Katara?
oh wait, no, you already have that. That's right, because you're
Yeah,
the one who
Katara had it.
originally holding that
Yeah.
before it went to Chauncey. So yeah,
And then-
it's still in your journal.
Oh, is it still in my journal? Oh, wait
Yeah.
a minute.
Should be under wondrous items.
Hey.
Yeah.
And then, I guess while I'm still here out and about, I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the Sai shop.
Go to the Sai shop. All right, so you stop by the Sai shop. As soon as you enter the doors, it's like, "Hey, Emil, how's it going? It's
Hey.
been a little bit. I'm not sure
It
if you
has been a
remember
bit.
me. I'm Kelsey Ellington."
I remember you. I come in here pretty much every other week.
Ah, well, I mean, I really don't know what all people remember these days. I mean, there's so many stores around this block. It's hard to stand out.
There are. Poke my
there's
head
a-
out, it's like
There's at least 1 or 2.
there's like 1.
Whatever you say. How you doing? You here to spend some more cash?
Actually, I am. I came into some money recently. You still have those propane canisters you had earlier when we came in here a couple weeks ago?
I do, actually. In fact, we've stocked up a bit more, and they come in a good variety of sizes. These ones are actually a little bit smaller and less pricey than the ones that we had back then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you could get like 5 of these
take
little
it.
suckers, and it kind of pulls them up. We have about 5 of them in stock. They're 200 apiece.
I'll take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Just realized I don't have the rule book up. Are those the same?
Yeah, they'll count as the propane canister crafting ingredient.
So 1 will count as propane canister?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I will take one of those. Do you happen to have a nozzle on you?
Oh yeah, we happen to have a good few nozzles. How many you need?
How much are they?
Oh well, they're about $50 a piece.
I could get one of those. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to take the one propane.
All right, very well.
Thank you, thank you.
So you acquire one propane canister, so that'll save you back 200.
Yep. I have deducted.
There you go. Anything else I could do you for?
Nope, that is everything that I need. Thank you very much for helping me with that.
Anytime. Always feel free to come back to the Sci Shop. Be sure to tell your friends, too.
I did.
Fantastic.
All right. You stay chirpy. I'm just gonna walk away.
And you get out of there
All right,
with your propane canister.
I'm gonna craft myself another herb sprayer with my nozzle that I picked up in Chicago.
Go ahead and make yourself a crafting check for that.
I forget what I add to crafting checks. Is it intelligence with proficiency?
It depends on the recipe. Each recipe, it'll tell you what ability modifier you use on it.
Right.
But yeah, it is an ability check using your tool proficiency.
Got it. It is.
So yeah, you would add your proficiency as well.
Yeah, it's mobility.
Yeah, mobility for that one.
Proficiency, so it's just my proficiency.
Yeah, so it's just a +3 then.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I'm pretty sure now that is all that I need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So with the 20, I'm assuming you definitely success.
Yeah, 20 on
or
my
you succeed.
check.
Yeah. So
I also success.
You very much success. So yeah, you craft yourself another herb sprayer using these pieces of equipment, and now you have another herb sprayer available in your inventory.
All right. I guess while I'm at it, I still have a green herb left, so I'm gonna go ahead and make another med fluid with that.
Okay.
Which is freaking fly has been bugging me this whole freaking game. That is an intelligence check. Okay. And I have to critically fail this to.
Yeah.
Fail.
All right, you're good.
That's a 13 on that. So I've got 2 herb sprayers with med fluid in each.
Good to know. So, if that's everything on Emil's end over the course of those 4 months.
Unless something else comes up, yeah.
Is that everything on Qatar's end as well?
Actually, I'm gonna send another letter to my other sister. Let me get her name real quick. Elle, that's her name. Elle. I'm gonna send another letter to Elle. Just like I sent some letters to her earlier, trying to get her to help with Archaea. This time, I'm just gonna send a letter, just like, this is from Emil. Can we talk? We haven't met in a long time. It's been a long time that we've seen each other. Can we talk?
All right. So you send that letter out. Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Dang it. What? Well, 20's treason on me. Okay, there we go. 16.
16. All right.
That's really good.
Send that letter out, and it's in the wind.
Okay,
Or more particularly in the Postal Service.
So basically, just in the wind.
Yeah. So, I was going to have Doc explain Chauncey's downtime activity, but seeing as he's not at the moment here, in the interest of time, I'll go ahead and go over that in his absence, since we're prepared for that, since he was going to... Yeah, since he was gonna miss this stream anyway, or at least the most of it, and I figured most of this would be done if he were to arrive at all. But so of course, as you've seen, he's back in his hometown of Stony Brook, or at least his current town. He's been doing all that stuff that you guys have seen him with. Mostly been using his downtime to work on the car, his little project car that's in his garage. He's been unable to find a workshop for good parts, so he's kind of getting a little frustrated and flustered and cutting some corners with the build. But he's been working on that. Of course, he got accepted into the FBC, just like Emil, and he's been reading through their training manual and training real hard for it. So he gets that done. Yeah, he gets that done over the course of the break. Gets an increase to his constitution modifier from that. And he's, of course, continuing to raise Archaea, continuing to teach her, about driving and guns and safety and fighting and all that. But while also attempting to keep boys like Robert, who she just dumped by the wayside, at arm's length. He's also, after receiving that voicemail at the start of this sort of 4-month break period, he does take strides to make amends with Cambria, and he does meet with her to do a debriefing, since she was technically the one who sent you guys out to begin with on that little quest to Chicago. So,
do we all need to be there for that, or is that just for Chauncey?
That's namely just Chauncey. But,
okay.
It seems Doc's back
what
now.
Did I miss?
So I was just getting into your break activities. So I already went over that you've been working on your car, training for the FBC training manual to gain its benefits, and continuing to raise and teach Archaea. I also mentioned that you're starting to make amends with Cambria, and you went and debriefed with her in regards to what happened in Chicago, and you said you were going to go into very deep detail in telling her what was up with that mission, and just generally trying to mend your relationship.
Yeah. I figure if I withheld the information before, I am not now.
And you tell her about Aiden and everything, and
everything.
Possibly
I'm
running into him.
Like she kind of knew the story of Aiden. That's the reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just about your potential encounter with them.
Yeah, potential. We never fully knew it was him, but we had our assumptions.
Yeah.
But we couldn't keep up with him on foot while he was speeding through gates.
Somebody could at least.
And while you're running into gates. So, I
do want to ask though. I don't think we addressed this, but I know we said that I was going to be giving back the M16 and the
yes. So all the
VP-70.
weapons that you guys borrowed from the FBC armory were returned before you guys left.
Okay. I'm just going to right now, for sake of speed, I'm just going to take the ammo out of both of those weapons, and hand them back empty.
Okay.
Ammo. Well, I mean, I was the one who put the ammo in it, anyways.
That's true.
RK is the one who spent the ammo in the H&K and the VP-70. I had to end up using more of my ammo, so that's not fun.
All right. And last but not least, you also write your own letter as well to your a little bit more distant brother Charles, and attempt to get in touch with him. I believe it was the last thing on your agenda.
Yes. That was one thing I wanted to do.
Very well. So, you get that sent out, and with that being the case, we are probably going to go ahead, as these 4 months begin to wind down and find some closure. We're going to go ahead and take, it's not really a midpoint break, but a little bit of a break right here, since we didn't really get a chance to. That ended up going a little longer than I was expecting, but we'll be back momentarily to continue the adventure following this moment of downtime that the party has been able to find. So,
Raph, just real quick, if there's anything you learned from the last downtime episode of Critical Role, don't give players free roam and downtime
Well, I mean,
they end up tagging a church and almost getting thrown in jail.
yeah, there's
God.
that. I mean, nothing so extreme happened this time. I mean, a lot happened, but you guys didn't get into any hijinks, so I'm thankful for that.
I think like this is like I think this is everybody's like preparatory stage to get into some hijinks later.
Yeah. This has been taking care of business. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
I mean, like, I've learned my hijinks lesson, so.
All
Chauncey's
right.
there like I've been burned once.
So we'll be back momentarily. It's probably going to be a bit of a brief break since we're running a little late on it here, so there probably won't be too much of a session left afterwards. But nonetheless, we will be back momentarily. Don't go anywhere if you're in the chat, and we'll be back in just a bit. So, with that being the case, let's get back into things, shall we? So,
Let's.
as this 4-month break wraps up, over the course of it, there is one thing we forgot to note, was that Chauncey did acquire a cell phone. So, important point of order. And Chauncey said there was a few other things you wanted to get done real quick towards the end of this break.
Yep, I'd like to go look for some ammo at the local gun shops.
Okay, so you head to the gun stop in town. You're, quite on the outskirts of Stony Brook, so you have to drive into the main urban hub at the center, and you do head to this local store called the Gun Stop. The owner is a man you're probably familiar with by now, named Martin Bowman. He's kind of an older gentleman in his mid-60s with short gray hair and a receding hairline. Kind of wears a long-sleeve blue canvas shirt and dusty jeans, very workmanlike. But yeah, he sees you coming and he's just like, "Oh, hey, Chauncey. How can I help you? I'm doing good."
Is this Eeyore? Sorry.
Freaking what's his name from Zootopia? The DMV guy.
Oh,
The
it's a
sloth.
sloth.
Yeah, the sloth from Zootopia. How
But,
may I help you?
I'm gonna go with starting off with asking him to view his wares. What do you got for guns here?
Well, we've got the usual slate of. He's gonna run you through just for the sake of time. He's got. What do you? Is there any weapon type you're looking for in particular, or just getting the sense of what all he has?
I would kind of want to look into attachments for weapons and ammo. So like bayonets, lasers, scopes, things like that.
I do have a bayonet available. If you would like to purchase it, that would be $200 for a bayonet. As far as laser sights and modifications like that, that's a bit of a custom job on a case-by-case basis. If you would like to make general upgrades to a weapon, such as that, it would probably come with a hefty cost, but you could improve a weapon if you are very attached to it.
Well, I want the bayonet. I do want the bayonet. That's for sure. And I can attach that to my assault rifle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure can.
And I'd like to see if you have any magnum ammo or shotgun ammo. 12 gauge or straight up.
Unfortunately, we don't seem to have any magnum ammo in stock at the moment. I do have 5 rounds of 12 gauge shotgun shells, though.
How much is that going to run me?
That'll run you about $50. Hey, should
Okay.
we throw that in with the bayonet?
Yeah, throw that in with the bayonet.
Very well. That'll be $250 for you, sir.
I have some ammo here that I no longer feel the need to carry around. Would you like to purchase it from me?
I'm not normally in the business of purchasing ammo from customers.
Okay. I waited long enough. I thought it was going to keep going. Okay, I'll just keep it then. See
Very
you.
well. All right, so You pay $250. You get 5 shotgun shells and bayonet. Let me get that to you right quick.
I imagine as he's leaving, this guy's just like, a genuine pleasure.
Yeah,
It was nice doing business with you.
And I'm already down the street. Like,
Oh, he's totally in Elcor.
Yeah, I kind of made that
This
connection.
This dude is secretly Eeyore. Alright. Thank you very much.
All right. So you've got your wares. So, with that out of the way, so it's been about 4 months. What?
one more thing. Is there like a general store where I can find some scrap material?
Yeah, you did do some searching a while back. I'll say, yeah, there is a general store actually. So, let me figure out the
Scrap
cost real
material
quick.
or a box of nails. You tell me. It doesn't matter either way.
All right. No, yeah, you could definitely find a box of nails, no problem, at just like a local tool shop. That'll just cost you a couple of bucks. I'll just say I'll set you back like $10 or so.
Okay. Done. Can I go ahead and take those 5 rounds and make them into what's that, flechette shells?
You want to make some flechette shells? All right.
Yeah,
Go ahead and make
yeah.
a crafting check real quick. It should be
First
whatever.
time. So how does this work?
Yeah, so take the ability modifier of the ability noted in the recipe, and add your proficiency bonus to that. I believe it should be a mobility check for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
But
mobility
it's
plus proficiency, because it's your proficiency with your Tinker's tools. So you kind of settle in the designated war room / armory type area that you've set aside in your house and start modifying some shells.
So now it says the save DC is 14, right?
Well, the save
'Cause it's
DC would be
3, 8, and 3 makes 14, and the DC is 10 to craft
well.
this item.
I don't think it needs a save DC, not for
Oh.
that particular item. Some of your
okay. The
yeah, if anything
actual
needs it,
mod.
then it will use that save. But this particular item just adds damage to the shells. So yeah, so this would just be the DC listed there, which I'm sure you passed. I don't think it's very high to
19.
craft flechette rounds.
No, 10. 10 is the DC.
Yeah.
that
So you
I
just had to beat 10.
surpass. Yeah, I passed it twice.
Yeah. So you just like clip off the ends of the shells and start filling them up with some good old-fashioned nails to make sure they have a little bit more piercing punch to them when you fire them. So you've got 5 flechette rounds that can be loaded into a shotgun.
Okay.
All right. So it's been about 4 months since you guys last saw any action, but around this point in time, it is about January 23rd, 2003. So it's New Year. And Chauncey and Emil, you both get called into the FBC facility in Philadelphia. Seems there's a few jobs that require your expertise. And apparently it's been requested that you bring Archaea along as well.
Can I question why?
Same.
Yeah. I guess Parker would be probably who you're talking to. He's just like, perhaps we'd best talk about it when you get here. But it wasn't my call, but I'm being told that's what is needed.
He calls us both personally at different times, or
Yeah,
it's
at different
is he
times.
Very moment he hangs up with one of us, he calls the other, so we don't have time to call each other and be like, "Well, what the hell's up with this?"
Yeah, probably.
You get that? Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, what do you think? I'm assuming I would call him after this. Because,
Yeah.
Did he say
Yeah.
to me, "I need you, Emil, and Archaea here"? Is that what he said to me? Or is he just like, "You bring Archaea"?
Well,
with you?
for you, he would probably just call you and say you request that you bring along Archaea, and Emil, he would probably just say you're needed.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I'll like get ready and then I'll get a call from Chauncey.
Yeah, you're gonna catch a call from me and be like, oh.
Well, that's weird.
Parker's asking for my presence and Arkea's presence.
Wonder why he needs Arkea. Did you get why?
No, he didn't specify. I asked, but I was not told why.
That's too bad. That's concerning, actually. It's very concerning.
Indeed. That's why I figured I'd call you to get the right thought process, because my thought process is no, but I will bring her.
I'm wondering if
this is my job.
I'm wondering if this is an Aiden thing.
I think he would have said something in terms to let me know that it had some kind of involvement with it.
Guess we'll have to see.
You're going too?
Yeah, he called me in.
Oh, then make sure you got my back just in case shit goes down.
Well,
I'll get yours, you get mine.
back.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
So
It's like it's Chauncey shooting over Emil's shoulder, and then Emil healing Chauncey, and then Arkea in the middle.
so I assume you all start preparing for departure
Yeah.
towards
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
And Emil's going to fully deck out, just in case he's gonna bring everything.
All right. Now, Katara, you also receive a very official, formal call from the FBC, requesting your aid as some sort of special advisor on an operation. So you're also invited to meet at the FBC facility in Philadelphia ASAP.
Oh my god, look at these people. This calls Emil. Emil. No? No, nothing. Okay.
Emil?
Nope. That rang busy.
Right.
No shit. You just called me. Or you just caught me. I was out the door.
Did you get a call at all?
Have you been called into the FBC?
Yeah, as a special advisor.
Oh, they can use you like that for something like that. Yeah, we just got a call to head in.
All right. You guys be able to come pick me up?
Yeah, you're on the way. I can grab you.
All right.
Yeah, not on my way.
You gotta go the exact opposite direction.
I'm assuming I would
walk
hold
there.
off as well. Well, no, that's a hell of a walk. But, I would assume I'd kind of wait until, like, maybe if Emil wants to, they could pit stop at my house on the way out.
Probably.
And then-
Well,
then
we can take your vehicle there because
Yeah.
yeah. So, all right, I'll pick you up. We'll head over to Chauncey's and we'll take his car.
All right.
All right. I'll see you in a
Very
few.
See you in a few hours. She's gonna let Miria know and
Mm-hmm.
be like, "Sorry."
Duty calls.
And yeah.
All right. So in that case, you guys arrange your ride-sharing situation and start making your way towards Philadelphia. And sort of near the outskirts of the city, there's a box-like 3-story office building that just sits in an isolated clearing along the Schuylkill River. And taking a newly constructed exit from the Schuylkill Expressway, it'll bring you right onto the building's sort of makeshift gravel parking lot. Looks to be a fairly new building. And it's the same place that Emil and Chauncey would have done their interviews. So, it's a little familiar to the both of you. And I guess since you guys were all ride-sharing, you all arrive at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that building is available for you
very
guys to go into.
economic.
Yeah, clearly.
All right. Let's see what this is about.
Arkea stands behind Chauncey and behind Emil. And lets them go first.
Yeah. And we're probably like, are you fully kitted out too as well? Well, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chauncey doesn't do anything but shower without his arm.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah. So,
So,
So
you
Neil and
guys,
Chauncey are both fully kitted out on the front.
you guys walk in just decked out.
Like we've gotten our like marching order down so much we just walk around town in that marching order.
So you guys enter into the sort of glass double doors and find your way into a small lobby area with kind of blue carpeted floors, and there's a reception desk at the front manned by this young secretary, and as she notices you guys enter in, she's like, oh my, can I help you?
We were called in.
Oh, okay, good, you work here. Yeah.
Well, I mean, probably walk in with like the
FBC badge out.
FBC badge like attached somewhere.
Yeah. Tactically waves. Yeah.
I'm assuming, like, if we're walking everywhere we go in marching order, Chauncey's in the lead going, like, coffee shop.
Coffee shop.
The only difference is that if it's not an infected area, we don't have our guns out, but everything else is still the same.
Well, thankfully you're not really in like an urban zone right now. This is just off the highway coming into the city, so it's in a kind of nice isolated little clearing.
Man.
But she redirects you, saying, like, oh yeah, I think what you're looking for is on the second floor, and again, it's just a 2-story building. I think I might have accidentally said 3-story earlier, but it is 2 stories.
Okay, it's 2 stories.
But yeah, she's like, yeah,
Can't tell.
yeah, it's a big box, hard to tell.
There's no, and if it's in the middle of a field, there are no references like to see how big. It looks 3 stories. It's part of the intimidation tactics.
Yeah, she says like, yeah, if you'll want to get your briefing up on the second floor, they're in meeting room 2A waiting for you, and kind of directs you backwards towards past the lobby. There are kind of halls on either side of this reception desk leading into a bullpen type area. There are kind of carpeted floors continuing into an open area with numerous desks sprawled out with papers, computers, and analysts occupying each one. There's a water cooler in one corner nearby to the copy machine, around which a few analysts are also gathered there in discourse. And of course, another corner with an open door leading to a break room where there's a small kitchen and a few people preparing coffee. So there's a stairwell on the other side of this bullpen area, and from here you could either go to the basement floor or the second floor. Chauncey and Emil, I guess the two of you having been here before, would know that there's an armory and a shooting range down on the basement level, but that's about it.
Good to know. All right, so we're heading up to the second.
So we tactically go up the steps.
Just everything is tactically at this point. When you guys are just walking around tactically.
Like every time we when we're going through the door, like we're just gonna like room clear, breach and breach and clear.
All right.
Hit the B button on one side of the door. I'll hit the B button on the other side. Yeah, put that door together.
It is noted that Archaea is not making eye contact with anyone. She's not speaking. She's very nervous, and her hands are sweating.
All right, Mom Spaghetti.
She's shaking a
bit. So you guys make your way up to the second floor. And this also has kind of carpeted hallways wrapping around the building, with the outside wall consisting of windows and the inside wall holding doors to various meeting rooms. And as you guys continue on, you head into the door that the receptionist had designated for you. And inside, you see a little meeting room that is kind of has a table in the center and is surrounded by 3 individuals. You see Parker Luciani, Mr. Fox, and Cambria Clancy. And Mr. Fox kind of sees you all enter, greets you, and says, good to see everyone's made it on time. So, I have a couple of jobs for you.
What for you?
And that is probably going to be where we end the session.
All right.
Oh, dang. Can't even let us debate for a week what we want to do.
No, yeah, this could have gone into a whole thing, but I know Mel's gonna get going soon, so I figured might as well have everyone
like 2
on board for all of this, all of the briefing moment, and whatever discourse follows.
Basket in that room.
Probably.
Because Archaea is gonna throw up.
All right.
She's got like a stomach thing.
Not a stomach thing.
She's it's like a stomach bloodstream thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to go home. Leave me alone. Why do you people want me?
I just
All
wanna
right.
go home.
So, with that being the case, thank you all very much. You may have been here watching live. I see Square 37 showed up in the chat as well.
Square!
No.
Wait! Square!
Square weight.
Square!
There you go.
Try to
So,
wait.
yeah, but
Missed it.
nonetheless, the VOD will be up
Yep.
on YouTube come Monday, as per usual. But yeah, that was an interesting little session. Good thing Chauncey managed to catch the tail end of it. It was nice to see you show up, Doc. So we'll be back at the same time next week, seeing where this leads and seeing what this proposition is looking like. So, until then,
Okay, I just want to know why she's there.
I mean, I think everybody's curious about why she's
Right?
there. Like, why was she called in personally?
Yeah.
so
I
Until
figured,
next
I figured
time.
Fox would be there, but
yeah, the whole gang's here pretty much of just like
yeah.
quest-given
Literal
NPCs that
gang.
you've met.
This is like Civil War looking right now.
Yeah.
It's just you guys on one side and them on the
Yeah.
other.
We're about
Just
to
a-
sign the Raccoon City Accords.
Tactically, of course.
Tactically fine.
Well, like I picture it because I've obviously everybody knows that knows me that I've been recently rewatching all the Marvel movies. Like I picture now Chauncey as Captain America because he's always showing up in that
Yes.
suit. Like he has that in the Winter Soldier. He goes up meets like the president of the company of Shield and it's like fully jacked. Like, yep, I'm here. What's up?
Well, that's a super spy, though. That's a meeting with Nick Fury.
Yeah, no, the other dude, what's his name, Pierce?
Oh, Alexander Pierce, yeah.
Yeah, when he shows up to talk to Pierce, he's fully dressed. He goes down an
Yeah,
elevator fully
true.
dressed, and there's tactical guys about to whoop on him without any armor. Like, this is the smart one here.
You don't have to get prepared if you stay prepared.
Whether or not you're captain or not, that dude's gonna wreck you because he's protected.
Well,
Oh.
I'm very excited to see where this goes. So, until next time, we'll see you guys later. Peace. Squared. Have a good night. God bless.
Good night, sweet dreams, all of the good things.